What's going on, guys? And welcome to episode 184 of the Tasty Cast, our weekly podcast where we talk all things gaming. On this episode of the Tasty Cast, we talk about what we've been playing. We keep it kind of short, though, compared to normal because we got a lot of things to talk about, including Counter-Strike 2. We talk about all the details. We watch all the videos. We go over all of the new features, including the new sub-tick system, how they're going to be bringing maps over to Counter-Strike 2, and, of course, the new smoke system, which has got me pretty excited about the future of smoke in games. Speaking of the future of gaming, we watched the State of Unreal presentation in its entirety. It's a big one, so if there's a specific topic you're looking for in this episode, make sure to check out the chapters. And we go over all of the things they talk about, including Metahumans, facial mocapping through your phone, which is really crazy, the insane graphics and the ability to make maps in Unreal Engine. Really crazy stuff. And then the future of Fortnite and how it's going to pave the way, in my opinion, to an actual metaverse that people are going to want to use. And of course, we read your guys' comments. So make sure to like this video if you enjoy it. Make sure to subscribe if you're brand new. Make sure to comment. All this stuff helps us out a lot. I really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy this episode. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 184 of the Tasty Cast. My name's Seth, and joining me today is Chevy. Chevy, hopefully you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good myself. I have a question to ask you before we jump into what we've been playing. So you play mobile games a lot more than I do, in every single way, on phones, portably, whatever. I recently, and I'll be talking about it when we talk about games we've been playing, I've been playing a couple mobile games on my phone lately, which is very weird. So I wanted to ask you, what kind of mobile games do you typically find yourself playing, and which ones are you currently playing?
I generally play RPG gacha games.
Okay. For anybody who doesn't know, what is that?
Well, role-playing game.
Sure. I hope they know what that is if they're watching this.
I mean, gacha is essentially, for lack of a better way to put it, gambling. Mm-hmm. Usually, they'll do characters or weapons, or sometimes a combo of both. There are other types, but those are the most common. You're often given enough free currency to be able to play the game and not have to pay, but it is a slower process. Or you can and then occasionally you get premium currency from time to time, and you can save up and do big pulls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But obviously the goal is to make money, since it's a free-to-play game, and so sure, they entice you typically with really high-quality art or crazy stats if we're talking about weapons and stuff like that. So a good example of a weapon would be Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, which I know a lot of people who play. I can't get into it, but it is a very popular one. But you get all the characters. They're available to you, but you get equipment through the gacha system to make them stronger. So
okay,
versus something I don't know, a Fate Grand Order would be a popular one. You roll for characters. So as far as what I'm currently playing, I am overdoing it these days. I'm playing Counterside, which is a tower defense, not tower defense. How do I word this? You have a ship on one side, there is an enemy or a ship on the other side, and then the units walk at each other until you can get to their base and destroy it. Type of game.
I played a Flash game a long time ago. It's kind of similar to that.
Yeah. And you could have a group of 8 people with a ship. The base part is also part of I don't think it's gacha in this. It's a crafting system for that part, and then the commander of they get an ability they can use. If you meet certain conditions, but they're not actually on the field. They are a gacha system. It's okay. I'm not in love with it. I do think it has a lot of good ideas, but they recently did a revamp on it, and I don't know if I like it. So I've been having I'm trying to decide if I want to drop it or not right now. been playing Blue Archive for probably like 2 years now.
Damn.
That is a 4v4, 4v environment, or if you're doing PvP, 4v4 game. 6, I guess, technically, sorry. 4 on the field, 2 support characters in the back. That was pretty good. If you don't mind, the kind of like the chibi art style when they're on the field, but the character models are portrayed with like high quality art outside of that. And then the other one is a bit on the degenerate side, but is Nike, Goddess of Victory. That is a live 2D. If you're not familiar with live 2D, it's basically a 2D image that has a lot of animation to it.
Okay.
And that is a shooter.
Like the cinematics people do? Where it's like drawings that are like moving?
Yes, except for it's just the character models move according to whatever live 2D rigging they've had done. It's also the same way VTubers work. So
okay, interesting. I'm learning all sorts of shit.
Yeah, that one is a shooter and has multiple classes like a rocket launcher type of character, heavy machine gun, normal assault rifle, submachine gun. And if I didn't say it already, sniper rifle. And then there's tanks, support, and DPS units, and the fights do get very hard. There's also iframe dodging and stuff in the game. It's pretty in depth. The glaring obvious part, though, is all the characters are female, and all of them are not safe for work, I would say.
Dang, ooh la la. One of them games.
It is a lot of fun, and the actual like end game system to it is a grind, but it's not boring, and you can't like no life it. You have 3 tries a day to try to get a piece of gear. So
it's like Dragon's Crown. It's one of those games I feel ashamed to play, but it's fun, so it doesn't matter.
I've actually used that as an example when I was explaining the game to other people. I was like, it is definitely like a game that is selling an appearance, but it is actually fun to play. So it's kind of a weird one. So because it's blatantly shameless about it. So
yeah, that's fine.
So
if people want to play that, they can play that.
Yeah, and then the other thing too, I would like to say is Counterside and Nike both have like proper like PC versions, so you can play it on the go or at home, which I like a lot.
Cool.
So
I appreciate that. I was playing for a little bit. Kart Rider or Racer, whatever the hell it's called. It's on PC and on mobile, and it shared the account, so like I could play it anywhere. But I'm also not like a huge kart racer fan, so like I didn't stick with it. But it's kind of neat to be able to continue my progress on PC and then do it on my phone. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, well, the reason I asked and learned a lot from that is because I've been playing a couple mobile games lately, and so I'll start talking about the games I've been playing lately. But one, as everybody knows who's been following lately, is I've been playing Vampire Survivors on mobile, which is a blast and a lot of fun. I don't have a whole lot to say there with my playing of it outside of that it's like a full ass game, and it's not the usual experience I get with mobile games. This game's like already kind of proven. I've played it on Steam. I love it there. And so playing it on my phone, it's like the whole thing. And the dude who makes that game obviously is not like, he's making money off of it, but like he's not like driven by that, given that he gave the game out for free. There's ads if you want to watch them. You get double XP and double money or tokens or whatever, but outside of that, there's no incentive. But I think that's one of the reasons I can play it, because the mobile game that I downloaded recently that I was going to talk about real quick, and I don't typically talk about mobile games, but I feel like it's kind of relevant, is Mighty Doom. Have you tried that yet? It's Doom. It's made by id and well, probably not made by id, but it's licensed.
I'd say it's more than likely made somewhere in the East. So
yeah, probably. I've been playing that a little bit because my phone gave me a notification randomly. It's like, my Doom's out. I'm like, okay, cool, but I guess I'll check it out. So it worked. It's an auto shooter. It's interesting. You start in a like room, and you have your character, and you just move them, and they just start shooting at any enemy nearby. And every time you get enough, whatever the currency in the game is, you're able to upgrade your gun. And you can get like a 3 or triple shot, a shot that shoots left, right, and forward, or get both of them eventually, so you're shooting everywhere. You can get ricochet, all sorts of stuff, missiles. And then as you play the game, you unlock guns, like a Gauss rifle, rocket launcher. Okay. And these are a button on the left side you can press every once in a while. It's got a cooldown.
Kind of like shmup, like then.
Like what?
Bullet hells.
Yeah. It is kind of like a bullet hell, but it's also very similar to how Vampire Survivors works. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have like the constant hordes coming at you because you go from room to room to room. And then there's dudes in between certain rooms that will give you just a reward. There's bosses that you fight. When you beat the bosses, there's a guy who will give you a buff and debuff at the same time. You can choose to use it or not. And so there's a lot of cool systems there that I think are pretty neat. And I've been playing a little bit, but my big problem with it is I've been so spoiled with Vampire Survivors on mobile that when this game started offering me all these like mobile free-to-play things, this is the thing that always turns me off from playing like a game on my phone. So every run takes 5 energy and you have 25. I assume refreshes daily. So that means you can probably do like 5 runs.
Essentially, I don't play too many games that use energy systems anymore.
Well, that's good because I fucking hate that shit. And so I'm playing this and it's like, this takes 5 energy. You have 15 energy left. And not that I'm going to be sitting there playing it all day. I got shit to do. But I hate the idea that like, I'm sure you can buy energy in the game. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But otherwise, I don't know what the point of that system would be. There's also constantly things trying to get you to go into the store to look at things like here's a free thing or watch an ad.
They all do that.
And then like right below it's just like, oh, but you can spend $4, you spend $10, you can blah blah. And I know they got to make money, but the design is just shameless and it's got that mobile feel to it that I hate. So kind of the whole reason I'm bringing it up is I thought it was interesting that some of this game I actually think is kind of neat. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that you get essentially loot boxes, whether you get those for doing dailies or you're playing the game and you just like get far enough and you hit a certain accolade, it gives you boxes. And when you open them up, you get like chest armor, gloves, helmet, like I said, a Gauss rifle, different things. You can all upgrade, or you can upgrade all of these things. But there's so many little things all over the place that are trying to incentivize you to spend money. And there's so many menus. I don't know why people can't make a mobile interface that is up to par with like any modern game. They all have like constant menus. You have to open this, open that. To get into your armor, you have to like go into your slayers, then go into your info bar, and from your info bar, then you start like adjusting things. I'm like, why did it take like 3? Like, why isn't there just like a straight just inventory screen? Boom, there's all the shit.
I was gonna say the 3 I mentioned earlier all are pretty menu heavy. I don't find it to be too encumbering because the menus all make sense. I would say.
What's a familiar
Counterside's
thing? Played enough.
This is why I said earlier, like the Counterside redid it, and I'm like kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to find shit now, and I don't like it. Versus like, and maybe just because I've played Blue Archive for so long, I don't have a problem finding stuff in that game. And then in Nikkei, there's just 5 buttons at the bottom, so it's kind of easy to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's just something I notice like a lot anytime I do try to dip my toes into the mobile market is there's just a lot of shared design choices that feel cheap, feel predatory, and they are. I feel like usually, they don't really respect my time. They feel like they're just blatantly just trying to find a way to get some money out of me constantly. And that's a lot of games, but it feels like the whole design is based around that aspect, which kind of sucks because every once in a while I'll find a game on phone that is pretty neat. And I'm like, man, and I've said this before, if I like your game enough, I'll want to support you. So all you gotta do is make a good game. But there's also plenty of people out there, probably a lot of kids, who are okay with just going like, it's $5 here, $5 there, whatever. Or, a kid getting hold of their parents' credit card or just through the app store, charging it to their, exactly. Yeah. And so that's probably a lot of easy ways to get some quick money. But
it's also a good reason for you to have parental controls on your devices.
100%. But I thought it was kind of fascinating with this one because I was like, this is like, a big title. It's Doom. So it's got to have some sense of it's got to be respectable in some way if it's taking on the name of Doom. And in some ways it is, but in other ways I'm like, there it is. There's the mobile thing I don't like. So I thought it'd just be interesting to talk about that a little bit because, I do every once in a while try out mobile games just to see what they're like, but it's hard for me to stick with them. Except for Vampire Survivors. I just got to say again, like that's like my go-to right now. If I got some time to kill, if I'm like on the go doing something, I just like bust that out and play it. Like so I've done it at the gym before when like I'm sitting there just biking and I'll just like pull off Vampire Survivors and just play it like a piece of shit.
I mean, obviously you found one that works for you at that point. Then, even though it's not technically a mobile game, it was adapted for mobile. And
I think they did it really well the way they did it. So just kind of makes me hope there's other ones out there, but.
Well, specifically since you use an Android device, there's a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're less restrictive on that though. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to sift through to find good stuff.
Oh yeah. I typically don't download like weird random ones though. I'll normally go off of ones that I'm hearing about, or when I go into their, I
usually look up the dev. So
the Play Store, whatever the hell it's called, the ones that are like highly rated and stuff like that. And I'll read some reviews, but
yeah, I usually just look up the dev, see if it's like, someone who's been doing it, for a while or whatever. But sometimes the dev's hard to find, and then I'm like, I don't know if I want to download this. So
yeah, it's funny too because like obviously there's just iPhones and it's going to work no matter what, unless it's an old iPhone. But like with Android, there's so many Androids out there that when you go into the reviews of any game, there's so many different experiences people are having. People are like, I can't believe this game crashes nonstop, or, oh, this game doesn't work on my phone. Every time I download a game like that and check it out, it always works perfectly on my phone. So
I typically have like a new device though. It's the same. Like right now,
and
I
like
have
a top tier device,
a new iPhone, and so like I don't really have any issues. But yeah, if you go on the reviews, you'll have, I'm trying to run this on my, my iPhone, 10 or, my, 2018 Samsung phone or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not working. Well, the game's newer and probably doesn't meet your system specs anymore.
Optimized for that, yeah.
So plus, especially with Android, so many different versions of the operating system, whatever candy name they're using at the time.
Yeah, I don't even follow it anymore.
But yeah, it's kind of tricky. But I mean, the same problem with PC. Like everyone has different PCs too. So
yeah, that's what it kind of reminds me of. Because I'll talk to people who are playing like the same game as me on PC, and they're like, the game doesn't work. I'm like, for you. Yeah. Like, yeah, it just doesn't work. I'm like, for you. For some other people, it's working for. So
exactly.
That's kind of the beauty of consoles is like. It either works for everyone or it doesn't.
There's one system spec.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of moving on from that, though, real quick. When it comes to the PlayStation Plus games and Game of the Month, which we'll be talking about this weekend, so ran out of time quick. We did play Minecraft Dungeons. I have plenty to say on that, so stay tuned for that. We played Multiverses. I have plenty to say on that, so stay tuned for that. That is Game of the Month, though, so that will be coming later. Plus Club will for sure be this weekend. We didn't play Battlefield yet, so we need to do that. We're running out of time. I thought I'd play that earlier in the month, but this month kind of flew by, and I've been playing another FPS way more than I probably would have played Battlefield. And then we haven't played Code Vein, but we've played it a lot already, so hopefully we can put some time.
Recently.
Yeah, so hopefully we can put some time into that and continue our ongoing review of Code Vein for the channel, because that's a thing. So for anyone who's curious about where we're at on those games, that's where we're at. I'm not speaking for you, but I think we're on the same page there. Let's see. Games I'm not going to talk a whole lot about. I've been playing VR games. Like I talked about in the last Tasty Cast. If you're curious about what games I've been playing lately, I've been playing After the Fall, which is made by the same people who make Arizona Sunshine. It's a 4-player cooperative zombie horde shooter type game. It's pretty neat. It's got a budget. The shooting is satisfying, feels good. I think it's interesting too, is it has a hub that when I joined the hub after doing the tutorial, there's just people running all over the place. So it's definitely got people playing. And like, because it's just tracking like their hand controllers and their headsets, the bodies are running normal, but like people's hands are like this and their chests are like like this while running around, and it's just really ridiculous. I was just walking up to people and just doing this in their face and stuff, and they're just like look at me and then run off like looking crazy.
Well, it's like when I played No Man's Sky with you. In VR, your hands are usually in like your character looks like they're walking like this.
I'm sitting in a chair. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you were the same. You're like a little short guy, but looked like you had little T-Rex hands.
That makes it worse, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat too. Before you go on missions, I just like that it's a VR game that makes getting with people, random people, and doing missions super easy. Because that's kind of the weird thing about VR early on was like you had to find people who had VR, and then you had to connect with them. And in this, it's just like if you're playing this game, you're just in the hub. There's everybody else. Go play. But it's kind of neat too because it's a social hub because there's like arcade games that you can sit there and play too while you're waiting. So that's kind of neat. I was sitting there just like looking at an arcade machine just playing, and I'm like, this is weird that I'm just like I have a headset on, and in this world I'm just playing an arcade game. So that's pretty neat. I played Bone Lab, which is really neat. Just went through the tutorial and played a little bit after that, but it's pretty cool. It's what you would expect from what's the game they made before? Or Boneworks, I think was their original game. It's similar to that, but better. But you kind of start off, you're like walking through like a medieval place, and you find out you're in a lab, and you go from using like ball and chain, dagger, sword stuff, fighting skeletons, to like getting pistols and like Uzis, and you're fighting like these dudes in suits and monsters. But it's pretty cool. I had this happen twice now, so maybe I need to recalibrate something, or it's just on the game's end. I couldn't pick up a pistol in Bone Lab, so that was really annoying. It's like, here's the pistol, and it's just on the floor, and I was sitting there just constantly trying to grab it. I couldn't grab it. I'm like, well, that sucks. But the SMG worked, so I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, that game's really neat. I need to play that more. There's something about that too. It has these collectibles. They're like Pokeballs all over the map or all over the game, and they're in places you got to really look for. But when you find them, you like twist them and open them, and they add a new item to the game. So it kind of has like progression in a way. Like there's unlocks, which I really appreciate, because a lot of VR games were just trying to make the experiences, but they weren't adding things to keep you playing them outside of just the experience. So I appreciate something to work towards in a VR game. I played Into the Radius, which is like a stalker style VR game. I was telling you about it a little bit, but essentially you go on these missions on an open map. You walk around, you scavenge a lot. One thing I kind of appreciate about it is, I also kind of hate it but love it, is when you have like a magazine in your gun and you shoot every round. A lot of games just want you to empty it out and put a new one in. And in this, you have to refill those with bullets, individual bullets. So you want to collect those and keep those. And so like when you're walking around scavenging, every once in a while I found like 2 bullets. And I'm like, oh, and I like grab those and put them in my backpack, and later have to load those into there. And I thought that was really interesting. But it's neat playing a VR game where you explore and scavenge. There is monsters that come after you, but they're like just kind of walk at you slowly, and they're kind of the least interesting part of the game. But outside of that, I thought it was pretty neat. I mean, I love Stalker, so it's pretty similar to that.
Yeah, when you brought that up, specifically like the survival aspect of it, my brain, obviously I told you this already, but kind of went to oh God, what's that? Oh, Project Zomboid. Something like that, yeah. But from a VR perspective, I think would be a blast.
That would be awesome.
Because I don't know, I like the idea of like exploring, looking for supplies and stuff like that, while having to like manage inventory in a more like real quote unquote realistic experience, versus like you look at a UI most time when you play a game, versus like in VR you could literally have a backpack. So.
Mm-hmm. A lot of games you have to store things on your belt, or you just put them behind your back and it's gone, or whatever, or you pull out a backpack, but then you just kind of like insert the things and they lock onto it. Right. The thing that's neat about this is it's kind of sloppy looking, but I actually kind of like it. When you pull your backpack out, there's just an opening where your backpack's like been opened, and anything you put in there just stays exactly where you left it. So I found myself like taking like magazines and putting them in the back bottom left corner, and then I put like, you know, food up in the top left, and I was just like organizing it so I knew where everything was at. And it's kind of a neat thing to throw that on my back and keep walking, and then pull it back out, and everything's exactly where it was.
Yeah.
So there's like a sense of organization, and in a game where you're like picking up every single bullet, you kind of need that, not just like chuck it in and it all just gets, you know, mixed up. So, but yeah, it's pretty neat. And yeah, Project Zomboid would be really cool in VR. Obviously, the perspective makes that challenging, but something similar to that I think would be very cool.
Yeah, the concept, not necessarily the gameplay style.
Yeah,
I think would be fun. So having, you know, hordes of zombies like that coming at you in VR would probably be terrifying.
Yeah.
So
just play Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, and you'll get a good idea of what that's like.
yeah, I want the survival game part more than I want the zombies, but yeah.
Yeah. Then the last VR game I played, because I was just kind of going through all the ones I bought recently, was Legendary Tales, which I did not get past the tutorial because I ran into an issue. But that is a up to 4-player cooperative dungeon crawling game, which is, from what I've played so far, really neat. You essentially, you know, sword and board, or like use like a bow and arrow, or like, you know, two-handed sword, stuff like that. There's a couple instances in the tutorial where I had to fight a skeleton, and you actually, like, it was teaching you, like, I thought I just had to like put my sword out and block, but it's like you got to like contact their sword. So like he was swinging out, like swing at his sword, and it would like deflect it back, and he'd backstep, and I'd run up and just stab him. I was like, that's pretty neat. Even the bow and arrow felt like really good shooting it, although you know, my headset's like this, so like doing this was like getting kind of weird. So I was holding the bow sideways and shooting it, and that was a lot easier for me. And then it has magic, which I think is interesting, where you equip something in your right hand, your left hand, and you're able to like charge a fireball and throw it, or and then you can also take both spells and you can combine them to create a new spell, which the one in the tutorial
is magic.
Yeah, kind of like that. In the tutorial, though, it teaches you how to make a fire axe. And so you pull a fire axe out and you have that now. So a lot of really cool stuff going on there. I'd love to play a co-op, but I think this is the second thing that I had an issue with in VR. During the tutorial, it's like, oh, pick up the sword the sword and shield, and it's trying to teach me how to like use mana potions. And like I was sitting there, I couldn't grab them. I was sitting there like reaching at them, and like the shield would like pick up every time. And it has a system too where if you hold the grip, things will just fly to your hand too. So I tried everything and it just wasn't happening. I was like, oh my God. So I'll come back to it. The tutorial is actually pretty long. I was playing it for a while because there's a lot of systems. There's also like leveling and stuff too, and things to equip, like obviously weapons, armor, stuff like that. So it seems like it has quite a bit of like depth to it, which I appreciate. But next time I might just skip the tutorial, but with the amount of systems that are involved in the game, I feel like I need to complete it. But I got a little flavor, a little taste of that, and it's pretty neat. So that's Legendary Tales, and I need to play more of that. And that game in co-op I think would be really cool. Other games I've been playing, we're going to be talking about this episode, but I'm sure you guys already know Counter-Strike 2 has been announced, so I downloaded CSGO. And holy shit, am I rusty at that game. I was getting wrecked in that game. Because, and we'll talk about it, but like CSGO is just going to turn into Counter-Strike 2 for free. And I was like, well, maybe I should, you know, practice up or whatever. And holy shit, that game's been out for way too long. People have been playing it for way too long, and I have not been playing it in a while. But I still like it. I forgot that I liked Counter-Strike. I used to love Counter-Strike when I was younger, and just fell out of it. So, yeah. Try that out just in anticipation for this summer, but I might just wait.
I really don't like this taking a game that exists and calling it another game when updating it.
Luckily with this, okay, so we'll talk about this later, I guess, but I guess we talk about it right now. Overwatch was barely anything other than they added like they added things they would have added to Overwatch anyway, but they updated the graphics. I think they added like, I don't know if it's ray tracing or not, new lighting, something like that. And a lot of people even complained about the new lighting, thinking that it just looked red as opposed to what it used to look like. So the upgrade was like not much of an upgrade. Whereas like this is actually jumping to Source 2 from Source. So it is quite a big upgrade. The only thing that's carrying over is, and it makes sense because there's monetary value to it, any skins or something like that you unlocked. But otherwise, we'll get into it. But there is quite a bit. They are making a lot of things from the ground up here.
It's still not a additional game though. It's an update.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're in a tricky. I don't like it either, but they're in a tricky place where they've supported a game for so long. They don't want to get rid of. I wouldn't say that community. Everybody makes it like the community will dissipate if they were to drop a new game. I'm like, I've been gaming since, Nintendo. Fucking, that's never been the case. You just make sequels, people will pick that one up. But when you've been supporting a game for so long that there's like things you're unlocking and accruing and collecting, I think it just makes more sense for them monetarily to carry that over, but also keep people happy in doing that. But I don't like it either because it feels less like a true sequel. But I think we're going to see that more and more with these games as a service style shooters.
Well, and my issue isn't with the action of them doing that. My issue is with same with Overwatch, the naming. The naming part is the part that bothers me because you're calling it a sequel, but it's an update. Like, just call it a fucking update.
Well, it's interesting because like Counter-Strike obviously has its history, and there's been Counter-Strike 0, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, CSGO. Mm-hmm. They haven't named it Counter-Strike 2, and they're calling this one Counter-Strike 2. And I think they're doing that because this is on Source 2. So they're hopping over, but to give it that 2 means something. So, and they are changing some things up, like what we'll see in the video, the smoke effects, the lighting, the reflections, stuff like that. But Counter-Strike's always kept a lot of things since the original mod as well, like certain maps and stuff. So there is an expectation. So I feel like, I don't want to be a hypocrite, but I feel like this game does can play around with that a little bit more than Overwatch did. Overwatch literally did just feel like a slight update, whereas like this feels like they are fully upgrading certain things and not other things on purpose. But we'll talk about it. But I get what you're saying because I'm not a fan of this either. Every time I bring up that I want sequels, I'll get people who are like part of these communities and like, why? And I'm like, the same reason we've always had sequels in games, because I want new engines, I want new fucking features that can't be implemented in this, I want new maps, I want to feel fresh, and like, why don't you play a different game? Like, because I like this game.
That's the same as when
it's such a weird generation to like be living in, where people don't understand the concept of like wanting a sequel to a game.
Well, it's the same as like, if a new console comes out and people are like, what do I need a new one for? Type of thing. And it's like, well, because it's newer and does, has more oomph to it. Like, you just want everything to look the same for the rest of your life. Like, I don't know.
Well, it reminds me of back in the 360 era when game journalists kept proposing this idea of like, are these the best graphics will ever be? Do we actually need better graphics than this? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you wasting energy even proposing this stupid idea? What do you mean is this the best graphics will ever be? That's insane. And then proposing that we shouldn't pursue better graphics. What are you talking about? Why would you even waste energy talking about that? So yeah, when people are like, "Oh, why do you need a sequel?" Well, to make the game better than it is now.
Yeah,
that's what sequels should do, and if they don't, that's just a failure. But like,
sure, yeah,
you reach the limitations of an engine at a certain point, and the graphics become dated. I know some people are like, well, it doesn't matter as long as the game's still good. Yeah, but every feature you like in this game you're currently playing, that was all inspired by either a game before that or other games that weren't even in the series before it. So we get better and better games, hopefully, by the games that came before it. It's like such a simple idea.
Yeah.
To me that eludes a lot of people for some reason when I talk about this stuff. So anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to that topic. But I've been playing CSGO, and it's old looking. It looks really old. So Counter-Strike 2, I think is very welcome. Even though a lot of people were telling me we don't need it, but I'm sure as fuck they'll be playing it. Okay, so Lumencraft. I played Lumencraft. That is a top-down mining game, apparently 4-player co-op. I haven't played it multiplayer yet, in which you're a guy with a drill and you roam around in either random maps, or you can play through a campaign where you are mining, you craft weapons and defenses, and then you defend your base against random mobs of enemies. I haven't played this a whole lot, but I played it a little bit, and it's pretty neat. I'm typically not into like top-down games a whole lot, except for like, Diablo-style games. For anybody wondering too, I didn't play the Diablo 4 beta, but I do plan on trying it out this weekend. But yeah, not those kind of top-down games, but like, these like kind of like Flash-style top-down games. I always think they're kind of neat, but they're not. They never hold my interest. But this is actually kind of cool. I don't know if there's any like long-term progression, or if it's all like based off of this round or whatever. But I don't know if it's just like, I don't know if I like mining. I don't know if I like survival games. You have to collect things, but it's super satisfying to be like digging tunnels, finding resources, and then building up certain things. So the game has a good gameplay loop to it. I need to play more though before I can have a hard opinion on it. I would like to play a multiplayer, but it's pretty neat so far. I got killed by lava, so that kind of gave me Minecraft PTSD. But
Yeah.
I cracked open this rock, and this thing behind it I didn't recognize. I thought it was just like, this is how stupid I am when it comes to a new game. I thought this orange thing was like gold. I thought it was like a gold rock behind it. And I cracked it open, and this lava just poured out and murdered me. I was like, oh, okay. That that reminds me of lava back when I used to play Minecraft. So, and let's finish this out with a big, strong one. I've been playing mostly Hunt Showdown. I might have mentioned it last Tasty Cast, but I'm still playing Hunt Showdown. I think I've put 30 or 40 hours into the game in like the last week and a half. I don't know. Over the weekend, I spent like a whole day playing it. I fucking love Hunt Showdown. I think it's legit one of the best first-person shooters of the last 10 years, let alone ever. And it's a blast. I have not felt this compelled to play a competitive shooter in a long time. I'm like addicted to it, which is really cool. And yeah, the community is bigger than it's ever been, so that's really neat to see. A lot of people are playing it. I'm happy to say that a lot of the things that they've added since I've been gone, I was worried would break the game. I don't think it's broken the game at all. I think it complements the game really well. A lot of cool new perks, a lot of cool new utility items and guns. Yeah, there's just no game that offers this kind of tension and combat scenarios that this game offers. It just sucks because like I was trying to play with Josh, and like he's like trying to get into it, but like he can't really get too into it because it's like maybe it's like a pacing thing or something for him. But I'm not gonna speak for him, but he gave it a good like 5 hours of gameplay, but eventually got to the point where he's like, man, I'm just not good at these kind of games. And I'm like, what kind of games? He's like, extraction shooters. I'm like, you do fine at Marauders, which is also a lot of fun. But yeah, maybe it's the lever action guns and the single action guns that's not for him. But my whole point is it's a lot of fun to play this game, but I have to play with randos because I don't know a whole lot of people who actually play this game. So that kind of sucks because I would love to get 2 other people to play with regularly with this or in this game. But yeah, I love the mix of high skill shooting. The unlocks, I've prestiged a couple times now again since I started playing again. And yeah, the game's great. I am upset though. When I came back to the game, it has a ranking system, MMR, and nothing crazy, but like when I came back, I had left off at MMR 4. I was playing for a while, I was keeping it there, and then like I played one night when I was drinking a little bit, and I dropped down to 3. And then when me and Josh played, I kept like teeter-tottering between MMR 3 and 4 constantly. And now when I've been playing recently, I'm like at 3 again. I'm like, fuck, I need to get my shit together and get back up to 4. But I was listening to the devs talk about it, and they were saying their favorite matchmaking is around MMR3. So, which makes sense because like the higher you go, the crazier it's going to get, the more intense it's going to be. And I'm sure if you're of a certain skill level, if you drop 10 to like 2 or 1 or whatever, it's probably not going to be that fun. You're probably going to get back up to 3 pretty quickly.
Well, not everyone enjoys being sweaty in a game. So
Sure. Yeah. But I got no, if you are like a high skill person and you just want to like just wreck people constantly, and then you get into an area where you got to fight other people of your level and you're complaining about it, I don't know what to tell you, because you know when you're playing a match where it doesn't feel fun because you have to be on top of your shit constantly, that's how lower skilled people feel when you're fighting them. So yeah, I guess play a little more chill or something, I don't know. So but yeah, Hunt Showdown is fantastic still. And I'm absolutely loving it. I don't even want to play anything else right now. And then, yeah, real quick, I plan on playing Resident Evil 4 Remake. I think it's out by the time this airs.
Right
Yep. Yeah. So really excited to play that. I would be playing that right now, but we're filming. So that's cool. That's what I've been playing.
All right. Well, mobile games and plus games aside that were mentioned, the only thing I've been playing when I have time is No Man's Sky. Whether that's in VR or not, that depends on if I want to put the headset on or not.
The mood, the vibe, dude.
Well, even though it is way easier than it used to be for VR, it's still, I still have to set up a little bit. So, yeah, so I've been playing that a lot. Chris and Scream have also been playing it, though not necessarily together. Kind of.
Rob's a big fan.
Scream and Chris are way beyond me at this point because they have the time to do so.
Fair.
So now I get to ask them a million questions when I don't know things, which is fine by me. It has multiplayer, but that's more of like a social thing. There are some things to do, but a lot of us are kind of like working on our own individual projects and stuff. I have a what do they call that? A capital ship or whatever, that is basically a base while you're in space, and that allows you to have a squadron and fleets. The fleets are a bunch of freighters that you can send out on missions. That's basically like a, hey, for 1 hour, go away and bring me stuff, in an hour type of thing. And then they level as they do that. The squadron will join you when you get into combat. They'll show up. But if you fill that up, you can't squad up with real people. So you have to kind of like, if you're going to play with people, maybe don't fill up your squadron. But if you play solo, you can have 4 ships, join you in combat that are NPCs. So kind of nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
I found a settlement on one of my planets. So now I am the mayor of a town, and I have to deal with them complaining that someone is handling silk too rough. And then I have to mediate them as if I was their father. So
Weird. I didn't know the game had that.
I didn't either. But you get to make decisions, including town squabbles, but also projects will come up. Like I made a landing pad and I had to go find resources to build it for the town. And there's a quest line right now that I'm doing for that town as well, because a bunch of sentinels that are programmed a little differently showed up and started attacking it. And I had to defend the town. Pretty cool. I have gone to my first red star system, which had no life forms living in it, just sentinels everywhere that were pissed off at me no matter where I went. And I had contraband on me, so they wouldn't stop attacking me. But those systems have more rare resources. And then I haven't seen one yet, but there are green and blue star systems as well, which are higher rarity items to sell and stuff like that too. Let's see. I found a planet that the description of it was frothy, which I thought was a strange word to describe a planet as.
Gross.
And I showed up, and I don't know if I'd call it frothy, but it was bubbly. There's bubbles everywhere, including the animals were living bubbles with liquid in them.
That's some froth.
So I tamed one. Now it's my pet. And then what else have I done in the game?
You could quite literally name that pet Bubblescoon.
You can't name them.
Oh.
It is a shame. Or
just do it mentally.
I just don't know how. If you know, tell me, please.
I'm actually really surprised by that.
Yeah, me too, because you name everything else in the game.
Yeah.
Everything.
Seems weird.
I think I might have said this last time, but in case I didn't, I got my first S-Class ship, which is the highest rank, to my knowledge. I've been outfitting it with as many S-Class mods as I can, and then kind of juggling the fact that you can only have so many of a type of mod installed before they just break. So it's a nice little stat juggling there. I bought a second ship that's an A rank. It's a fighter ship because fighting in a boat kind of sucks. So I wanted to have something to like actually intentionally go fight in, but it has nothing yet. So I have to work on it. Yeah. Other than that, for a game as old as it is, it still has some weird bugs that happen more often than they should. If I wasn't enjoying myself so much, I'd probably be frustrated. But I've gotten stuck in walls twice now. And I thought I was not going to get my character back, but fortunately loading into single player and then loading back into multiplayer popped me out of the wall. So, because they don't have an unstuck command. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like they should in a game like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little freaked out. I was like, I have way too many hours at this point to be starting over. So
yeah, that would suck. I would never play it again.
Oh, I unlocked my land vehicle and a mech that I can pilot. So there is a lot in that game since I last played. Holy crap. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy. And it kind of makes me think that, not trying to give excuses for bugs, but a game that originally wasn't supposed to be what it is now, I expect bugs.
Well, I try to be understanding because the fact that, it's a indie studio that got advertised as if it was a AAA studio. And then a game that was designed to be an exploration game has just done way more than that at this point.
Tried to become and then exceeded what people originally thought it was supposed to be.
I also love that when I go to the multiplayer hub, there's people just running around. I don't like that they can fill your inventory up with whatever they want, though. Please, I think I could shut it off, but please make it like something I have to hit an accept button or something.
They can fill your inventory?
You can give people stuff, right? You just, as long as they're close to you, you can just give them stuff. And so I was trying to genetically modify one of my pets. They lay eggs, and you can then take that egg. You could put some genetic sequencing or whatever to try to make a different type of pet. And as I was doing that, they saw me there. I assume they were like, oh, I got these awesome pets, just take these eggs. And they filled my inventory and my ship's inventory with eggs, and then I couldn't accept my egg back and I lost it. And I was like, cool, I don't like that. So now I make sure before I hit the accept button that I haven't been messed with at all. So it only happened the one time. And most time people are like, and I assume they're just like, hey, people are playing, this is great, keep playing, but they'll like drop off things that are worth like a stupid amount of money in your inventory, which if you're new kind of sucks, but when you're even like remotely into the game, money's not hard to get anymore. So it's just like, oh, thanks, I guess. So I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm constantly, unfortunately, I'll be working on a project. I get distracted to start another project. Get distracted. It reminds me of like when I played a lot of Minecraft. There's just always something to do. So you just have to get past the beginning hump, which is what the game started as. And like I almost never gather anything anymore because my gathering tool has so many mods on it that instead of me gathering a plant and getting 20, I get like 400 now. And so I'm just like blap, 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 done. And then I go and do missions. So,
put enough time into it.
You have to put the time in, yeah. But it gets the monotonous stuff becomes less and less, and then the amount of quests in your quest log become more and more and more. So, but yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'm surprised that as I played it, 2 people decided to pick it up and play it, Chris and Scream. I didn't expect either of them to continue playing it, and they both play it more than me. So kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I've been playing.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got nothing else to say, I guess. So let us know in the comments, what games have you guys been playing? What games are you planning on playing? Are you playing Resident Evil 4 Remake? And if you're playing right now, are you liking it? And did you play Diablo 4 beta, or are you planning on playing that this weekend? And yeah, what games would you recommend us check out? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, we got two big topics to talk about in terms of videos to watch. And the first one, as we talked about earlier, is Counter-Strike 2, which was officially announced. And loosely what I've gathered from it so far is they are upgrading CSGO into Counter-Strike 2. So if you do have stuff unlocked on CSGO, it will transfer over to Counter-Strike 2. But they are leveling up the world, and all the video is called Leveling Up the World. They're leveling up the experience of the game, and upgrading it in a lot of ways. So it will be a substantial jump, but they are transferring things over, so that's kind of interesting. So anyway, they've released 3 videos that are going to showcase what they did with the levels, what they did with smoke effects, which is really interesting, and something they call sub-ping system. I've actually watched these already, so we're watching these to really just have this conversation. But yeah, Counter-Strike 2, Chevy, how do you feel about Counter-Strike? How do you feel about Counter-Strike 2? You already kind of said what you thought of what they're doing with this, and do you have any interest in this, or something Valve's doing in general?
My knowledge Counter-Strike is that it is a skill-based shooter that's competitive, which none of those things matter to me. So I'm very ignorant when it comes to Counter-Strike. I also know there is a separate service that runs alongside of it to do skins and stuff like that, I think. And I saw people joking about that they're going to start doing shoe skins now that you can see your feet in Counter-Strike too. So,
oh, probably. I'll say I see the conversation often now about NFTs and how Counter-Strike essentially isn't doing NFTs, but does like kind of a proto NFT thing where they have the Steam marketplace, and you could sell all the things you unlock in CSGO. And somebody on Twitter the other day said they made like $300 off of stuff they had unlocked, which I thought was kind of crazy. But so yeah, if they were doing shoes, it would make sense because it only adds to that ecosystem. I think it's weird how there's just like a monetary, almost business model to playing enough CSGO or Counter-Strike. It's kind of crazy.
Yep, not a fan.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't play it enough to know if that's something I'd be interested in.
It has
but
nothing to do with the game for me. I just don't think video games should be business. So
yeah, I agree with that. My Steam inventory is full of like so many things that I don't even pay attention to, and it's like, you want to sell these? I'm like, maybe I could to get rid of them, but like I don't really care. Like. So it's not really a big thing for me, but for a lot of people, you can make, I guess, decent money just playing a video game and selling shit.
A lot of people, you can make a lot of people. You can make a lot of money stealing people's MMO accounts, selling those too. So
yeah,
I'll say this business is as old as fucking time.
Yeah,
this is just a little bit different.
So where I'm coming from with this, though, I kind of said earlier, I played Counter-Strike way back in the day. I loved Counter-Strike early on because one of the first like competitive like arena-esque tactical games where like, you shoot somebody a couple times and they die, and it's all about team tactics and rescuing hostages and defusing bombs and stuff like that, which is still one of my favorite types of game modes in most first-person shooters nowadays. Is some kind of like, bomb defusal type game. So yeah, I have a history with Counter-Strike, but CSGO, I think I only put like 20 hours into it when it came out. So, a decent amount, but in terms of, and that was when it came out, but like in terms of how long it's been out, I've barely played it at this point. When I hopped into it, I was looking at the UI and everything. I'm like, oh, a lot has changed, but it would in this time. It's been out forever at this point. So, I've fallen out of it, but I am interested in maybe hopping back into it. And I said in a recent TikTok that if they did make a legitimate sequel or new game, I might hop back in because it'll be like starting from the beginning again. But they are not doing that. They're doing the whole transfer thing. But there's enough big changes here that I think I'm still going to check it out for sure, because it does seem like they are modernizing the game in some ways while keeping it traditional as well, which we will find out in this video we're about to watch. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested, but I'm not super hyped. I'm hyped about the smoke. We'll watch that. Yeah. So anything else you want to say on this? All right, let's watch this. This is Counter-Strike 2 leveling up the world in 3, 2, 1, go.
With over 20 years of history, maps are a fundamental pillar of Counter-Strike. And in Counter-Strike 2, maps are getting a new look. But don't worry, you can still bring along your countless hours honing strategies and exploiting every corner and crevice. We took 3 approaches to improving maps while retaining their rich legacy. First, there are touchstone maps, classic maps with solid foundations that players can use to evaluate gameplay changes from CSGO to Counter-Strike 2. These have improvements to lighting and character read, but otherwise haven't been changed. Next, we have upgrades. These are maps that use new Source 2 lighting, including a physically based rendering system that produces realistic materials, lighting, and reflections. And finally, overhauls.
This is what I'm interested in.
The oldest maps have been fully rebuilt from the ground up, leveraging all of the Source 2 tools and rendering features. These tools will be available for community map makers to make it easier to build, experiment, and iterate. With upgrades to lighting, player read, and materials in Counter-Strike 2, even the familiar will feel brand new.
It's funny, I saw this originally and I was like, yeah, it looks pretty good, but not that great. But then I played CSGO, I'm like, this is a big upgrade.
Yeah.
Visually. All right, so since these videos are all about specific features, let's talk about this real quick. One thing I thought was interesting is what they're doing with the maps. So Counter-Strike since the beginning has had a lot of the same maps, and they've added new ones, but there's like just classic maps. And so I was wondering about this. If you're going to like upgrade them, how much of an upgrade are you going to do? Because there's a certain point where people will start blaming your upgrade on why they're not playing as well. So I think it's really interesting that they're finding this middle ground of barely touching the legacy maps, doing upgrades to them so they just look nicer. They got new lighting, new reflections, stuff like that. But then doing the overhauls, which I'm interested in because I want to see what the game can look like at its highest level. So this kind of satisfies, I think, if you're like a Counter-Strike person, let me know what you think. I think it satisfies everybody. Because for someone like me who wants the sequel, wants the brand new stuff, wants the better tech, the brand new levels, everything to look crispy, I'm going to be able to play these overhaul maps or even play the better lighting ones, which I think is a weird middle ground. But for the people who just want to keep playing CSGO and they just want to keep playing exactly how they were before, you'll be able to play those OG maps. So it's really interesting. I wonder how they're going to handle it when it comes to finding lobbies, though. Will you just like click one of those 3 things and it'll just queue you up in games from there? I don't know, but
are they the same maps in 3 different ways, or I thought they were just like there's a category of the maps that are this type, another category that's this type, another category that's this. I didn't think they were all the same though.
Well, they said with overhauls they're taking classic maps and building from the ground up.
Right.
And then the first tier is just classic maps. And so they're going to be taking some of those maps and upgrading completely. And some of the footage they showed were of same maps.
Yeah.
The ones in the middle I'm not so sure about.
Well, I mean, I don't know the way the game works, but I would just assume you would just queue up and you would just get a version of that map at that point.
I feel like you're going to be able to opt out of the new maps, though. I feel like the touchstone ones are going to be something you're going to opt into, kind of like how some people play WoW and some people play classic WoW. That's what I interpret from that. Maybe I'm wrong,
Yeah,
but
I would say those are different, actually different games, though. So
sure, but like the graphics are, like not as good with the classic version, all that kind of thing. So I assume if you want the classic maps, you'll be able to play the touchstone maps, since they're transferring the game from source to source 2. I'm sure they can, even though we'll be on source 2, it'll look closer to the classic look and feel.
Yeah.
Because they said they barely touched them. So.
Yeah. I mean, all I can do is assume. So.
Yeah.
I don't know how they'll handle it.
Because like right now, when you start the game up, you can go to like the casual section, the ranking section, and there you can pick, I think it's like something Delta, and it gives you like 5 maps in that chunk, and then the other one's like Charlie or something like that, and it gives you like 5 maps in that chunk, and it's like all segmented. So I'm wondering if they're gonna do something similar to that, but I don't know. But anyway, at the very least, we are getting 3 different tiers of types of maps. Like I said, I assume some of these will be, at least some of them will be built up from the ground up with Source 2 with the overhauls, which I think is really interesting. Then, yeah, what do you think about the visuals?
It looks fine to me.
Yeah.
It's a hard conversation we have because I have like zero expectations or interest, I guess, in the game. So, I don't need things to look amazing, but they look fine. I'm also not in the camp of like seeing something that has slightly dated graphics and saying, "Oh, that's a PS2 game," because I think that's such a boring statement to make. But
yeah,
I mean they look fine. They look modern enough.
Yeah, I think it's interesting on the overhaul maps. We're seeing like physics in there. We're seeing like fruit moving, stuff like that. So it seems like they are, dare I say, maybe going in the Call of Duty route of adding like density of items on the map in the overhauled ones. Because in the original, you just had like lanes with boxes essentially. But with the new ones, maybe there will be like movable objects when you're shooting through. Things will actually fall off shelves, or actually be in the map. So I think that'll be really interesting to see, especially if you play the old maps and the new version of it easily. I think it'll be really cool to see how they do that, but I don't know how they're planning on doing that for sure. But yeah, whatever they're doing here, I feel like it's going to be win-win as long as they do it well, kind of appealing to everybody. You got a new engine, you want to make a new game, but you also have to play to the legacy that is Counter-Strike and the maps that people expect from it. And so I feel like they're trying to do both. So we'll see how they execute it. Anything else you want to say? All right. Let us know in the comments what do you guys think about the leveling up the world, what they're doing with the maps, and if you have any more information on this that can illuminate it a bit more for us, let me know in the comments below. Next video for Counter-Strike 2 is moving beyond tick rate. This is about how the server communicates with your computer and making sure that when you are pulling the trigger in the game, there's no confusion on whether the server might have fucked you or not, which does still happen in quite a few games. So yeah, we'll watch this and we'll talk about it. Ready? All right, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Counter-Strike is known for its visceral and satisfying gunplay. Now, firing a weapon looks pretty simple. You click your mouse, your character shoots, your target takes damage. But there's a lot more happening behind the scenes. In previous versions of Counter-Strike, the game only evaluated moving and shooting in discrete time intervals, or ticks, and time between those ticks didn't exist. For the most part, the experience was seamless, but sometimes those milliseconds between click and tick could be the difference between landing or missing your shot. That's why with Counter-Strike 2, we're introducing sub-tick updates. Now the tick rate no longer matters for moving and shooting, so the server will know the exact moment you fired your shot, jumped your jump, or peeked your peek, and the server will calculate your precise actions between ticks. So what you see is what you get.
So you probably won't have much to say on that because that definitely seems like it's a feature that is going to benefit everybody, but for competition, it's going to get a lot of the like, well, I think this thing happened out of the conversation. But do you have any thoughts?
I mean, from a competitive standpoint, the less you have to worry about a server tick, the better. I don't know much about it in a competitive sense, but I do play MMOs, and I have to deal with server ticks for that. And there's a reason, for example, like Final Fantasy XIV's combat system is based on a slower GCD global cooldown than like World of Warcraft is because their server ticks are, basically longer and slower. So, but they built the game around that being a thing, and you were, doing mostly PvE content in that game, so a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, it's overall, it's just going to be a good thing for a competitive game, because the less things that people can use as an excuse, because in any competitive game, the loser will make excuses.
Sure, a lot.
That's one less thing they can pull out of their repertoire of why they're losing. So,
yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. I think it's kind of amazing how much we take for granted, just like how well servers work for the most part. And when you do notice something wrong, that's not as often when you're not noticing things. It is kind of amazing that you're connected to a server that's communicating what you're doing to the server while other people are also doing the same thing, and it has to connect to those things together. I remember watching a video from the devs who make Hunt Showdown, talking about how they were improving this kind of thing. This is a while back that I watched this. They're talking about, like, when you fire your bullet, that has to tell the server that you did that, and then the server is keeping track of that bullet, the individual bullet you shot, and where it's going, and when it lands, and somebody else getting hit, and when they fired the bullet back at you. And that's a lot of things happening that we're trying to smooth out and make better and better and better. Because I remember back in like the Black Ops days, Call of Duty, sometimes you would get a kill or die in a weird way, and you're like, what happened? And you watch a replay and you're like, that didn't fucking happen. What the hell? That's the server. It wasn't doing as well with that as like more modern games. And then I remember when the rumors and leaks for this came out not that long ago, like 2 weeks ago, there was a part of it saying that this game wanted to be competitive with Valorant, because I guess Valorant has a really good tick system that it has implemented. And so it's interesting that is one of the first and foremost things that they're advertising is this sub-tick system. I'd actually like to hear more on how it works, because when they're saying there's no latency in there at all, there's no delay or anything when they're showing when it registered, I'd be curious on how it's doing that. Is it like a predictive thing going on? Is it like registering so quickly you can't even notice? Like, I don't even know how the server's doing that, but if it is what they say it is, it's kind of amazing. And I hope more and more games can achieve that, because there's nothing worse outside of just, hackers or something like that than, having something happen in a game, specifically if it's competitive, that's server side, that, ruins your experience. I'm thinking about that a lot lately playing Hunt Showdown. So I do kind of appreciate what they're doing here, even if it's a game that I may or may not get into. So, I think it's neat. I think it's cool, too, you're able to talk about this from an MMO perspective, because these are all online games. They have to communicate to a server to make sure everybody's having an experience that feels like it's simultaneously happening in real time for everybody. So yeah, something I think a lot of us take for granted and don't think about. So it's kind of cool they even addressed it. But I think at the very least, this is to reassure competitive esports people that they have a very premium sub-tick server system now, which is probably reassuring considering how big this game. I always kind of forget this game exists, and then when the esports stuff comes up, I'm like, people still play that a lot. And I look at the numbers on Steam, I'm like, oh, it's like the most popular game ever. Like, that's crazy. So I get, like, when I come in and I talk about Counter-Strike and how I want a real sequel and stuff, people are like, no, you don't even play, you don't even know. I'm like, okay, I get it. There is a established community to this game. You guys know what you want. But as somebody who could potentially be part of that community, and you want to bring more people in your community, there's things I want as well. So, but that's a whole different point. So yeah, really cool. Next video we got, and the last one, is responsive smokes. For Counter-Strike 2, they have implemented a new system that I don't think was possible on the last engine that I am saying now. I feel like if this is a hit, you'll see this in more and more games. So, yeah, let's watch this and we'll talk about it. 3, 2, 1, go.
In a Counter-Strike match, information can mean the difference between success or failure. As a result, smoke grenades have become a cornerstone of team tactics. With Counter-Strike 2's new game engine, we've evolved smokes and made them dynamic. Smoke grenades now create volumetric 3D objects that live in the world. Now, not only do all players see the same smoke regardless of position, but the smoke can interact with the environment in interesting ways. It reacts to lighting, grows to fill spaces naturally. The shape of the smoke cloud can be pushed and carved by bullets and grenades. In Counter-Strike 2, smoke grenades provide even more tactical opportunities. They're just going to look and play better.
All right, so you actually told me about this before I saw it because you had heard about it. And as soon as you even mentioned it, I was like, that's something I never thought about in a game. And now I'm like, that's cool. Like that's every once in a while there's just a feature that comes out in a game, like pinging. That wasn't like a big thing in a lot of games for a long time. And then some games kind of like made the system where you just press one time, no matter what it is, there's a box pinged, there's an enemy pinged. And at this point, I'm like, every game needs pinging. I'm not saying every game needs this, but I will not be surprised if Call of Duty in a couple, iterations will have some kind of dynamic smoke system. I feel like this is something that's going to be normal in FPSs, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. Do you have any thoughts?
I think it's a neat system just in the aspect of like, smoke is not exactly like that, but very similar to that in real life. And so like it adds a little more realism to the way it works because, smoke in games has always been just basically like a visual wall, and that's all it is. And now it is that, but you can still get context clues or sometimes even like see the person through a hole in the smoke for a brief moment. And it allows just another element of like strategy into the mix. So especially like, instead of you having to rush through the smoke to the other side and potentially, get unloaded on, you can see where they're shooting from and maybe make a decision off of that. So I think that's really neat. And this is just, obviously a very early version of this. So seeing how this can be applied in not only shooters, but just in games in general in the future is kind of an exciting prospect. So,
yeah, I think the shooting through and it dissipating and refilling is really neat. But I think the thing I think is most exciting about it is that it fills the area. In the couple of shots they showed with the circle or with the weird little hallway that goes upward, it like fills that upward.
Yeah.
And that's kind of neat because it's a little more immersive, but also it's more dynamic. It just makes more sense. It looks less cheesy. Although when they're shooting through, it does kind of look like they're shooting through cotton candy. It doesn't look realistic, but the principle is still really neat. I think the idea is really cool, and for gameplay, I think it'll be really interesting to see what it's like because there is an element to every first-person shooter ever before this having a smoke grenade out, and it just blocks the view. And every once in a while, someone will shoot through it, or you'll shoot through it just to see if you can hit something, but you're not seeing anything. With this, when you shoot through it, you're actually getting a little window for a second, which gives you new data. I don't know if that's going to be preferable or not, but the tech is interesting. It's really neat. It would be cool to see this tech be pushed further by games later where like the can actually rolls and the smoke actually follows that, or like implement wind into the game where the smoke actually moves. That'd be it would take a lot of resources to get that to happen, but we're at a time where I think stuff like that, like this, can happen a lot easier. So it's funny that this feature, I never thought about it before. And now that I see it, I'm like, there's a lot of things you could do with smoke that I never thought about. So I'm excited for that reason.
Well, even taking this idea, right, and then like we'll use a different genre. We'll take survival games, right? Mm-hmm. And I've played a couple survival games where like if you light a fire inside a house, you start asphyxiating.
Yeah.
And if you had a visual cue of smoke actually like
moving and
literally filling up the space.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can open a window or blast a hole in the wall or whatever and watch it actually drift out.
Yeah, how cool it'd be to see
cool.
in a game, even for the visual of it, to see smoke billowing out of a window.
Yeah.
It'd be fucking insane. And I don't really have a whole lot of hope for oh god, why can't I remember DICE nowadays, but there is a time where I could have seen DICE spearheading something like that. A visual like that, but not anymore. But yeah, somebody else could, and this just is them kind of introducing the idea, and I feel like there's a lot of room to play with this. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things you could implement with this kind of tech, even outside of a competitive shooter. But for this game, I think it'll be really neat. The smoke grenade is a staple in Counter-Strike. I've used it a million times. Plenty of people use it. And so that they even thought about it, I think is really neat. And kind of a little tangent, Valve, when they do things, has good ideas. And it's so annoying that they don't do anything. When they dreamed up a controller, I never got to use it, but it was interesting. A lot of neat ideas. The Steam Deck, a lot of neat ideas, and I think they executed on it really well. Their little things before the Steam Deck where they're trying to do like streaming your games to TVs or whatever. I forgot what that was called.
Yeah.
Didn't work, didn't land, but cool idea. And then they just have like this long legacy of like cool ideas in gaming. Arguably Half-Life 2, had all these like revolutionary ideas when it first came out, especially with physics. And then even now they're like taking Counter-Strike and they're upgrading the graphics. Anyone would do that, but then they're also thinking about this shit. I'm like, man, Valve, can you guys just like fucking make a game?
I mean, they made Half-Life, Alex.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of the best VR experiences I've ever had. So it's like, fuck, you guys have this talent. I know, Steam is a moneymaker and you got to run that shit. But goddamn, they still have ideas. So it's kind of frustrating to know that, even with a project like this, they're like, we got some cool ideas to add to it. They do. Yeah. So it's pretty neat. Overall, though, I think the smoke is really cool. It's probably the biggest thing I'm excited about for Counter-Strike 2, and I'll be really interested to see how it works. There is a chance, though, I could play it and go, I don't really like what they did with this, but the tech is still really cool. So yeah. Anything else you want to say? All right. Well, overall, I'm excited for Counter-Strike 2. I'll definitely be checking it out. I'm sure you won't be, but
I will not be.
At least it's funny because like it's easy to go like, I'm not really in competitive games. Counter-Strike's like one of the most competitive fucking shooters out there. So if you're not into that, you're not going to be into this. I was playing too, and people were like talking in game nonstop, and I was like, I haven't played a game like this in a while. People don't talk in games anymore. They're all in party chat.
Yeah.
But on this, they were all very vocal. I was like, holy shit, this is a community. All right. Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think about Counter-Strike 2. What do you think about the smoke? What do you think about the technology of that? What do you think about them moving it over to Source 2? What do you think about them transferring all your stuff over? Are you into that? I'm sure if you play this game regularly, you want that. But maybe you wanted a legit sequel. What does that even mean anymore? What do you think about the sub tick system? What do you think about the levels? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Counter-Strike 2. All right, we got quite a bit of a sit here. They did a State of Unreal live stream. Now, originally I was going to watch a couple clips from this, but there's a lot of things that are left out of context. And a lot of the videos I was going to watch are all from this presentation anyway, so we're going to watch it in its entirety. So watch it with us or skip to specific parts. I'll have chapters a little late in the episode to be telling you this, but I'm sure I told you in the intro already. And if you don't want to watch through this, skip forward to us reading your comments. Chevy, the future of Unreal is crazy.
This is the second major update for this engine, I think.
Yeah, already. 5.1 came out and like had a couple things, but this is like a huge jump, I guess, 5.2. And I was already impressed with 5 when it just came out. So
we barely even got games coming out on this engine. So
I keep looking at the tech demos they keep releasing. I'm like, where's those games at? Yeah. Like, they're being developed right now. But there's a couple games that have come out or are coming out soon. But I don't think we've seen the true next generation graphics of Unreal yet. But they keep showing it off. And a couple things I saw from this already, but we'll watch and talk about it. But it seems like Unreal is making it easier and easier for the average person to do anything digitally, whether that be developing a game, making CGI movies, or we will see it here, mocapping with minimal hardware, which is fucking insane. So it's kind of exciting to see how much power they're putting in the average person's hands through Unreal. It's fucking unreal. So, you got anything you want to say, or should we just start this?
No, I don't really have anything.
No? All right. This is State of Unreal live stream, a glimpse of next-gen gaming in 3, 2, 1, and go. This thing's like an hour long, guys, so be ready. This video is a lot quieter than the other video, so I might bump it here in a sec. I'll see what they sound like. There's a new update for Ghostwire Tokyo that like new enemies and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but well, there it is.
What's wrong?
I need to play a game more. It's pretty neat. All right, somebody talk. He's looking busted.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back at GDC. You know, back in 2020, as the pandemic was ramping up, we were the last major company to drop out of GDC. We were the first to go all remote. And then we headed into the pandemic. It was a completely crazy time with thousands of people working from around their homes. But the company thrived. So I'd like to go through some of the things that we've done since the last GDC.
Saying the company thrived is a fucking
First of all, we
understatement.
launched Project Liberty. Epic challenged the App Store monopolies. Yeah, we're in front of the Ninth Circuit Court. Europe has passed some major new legislation, and the fight goes on for the freedom of all developers. Mediatonic joined Epic, launched Fall Guys for free, and brought in 60 million new players.
Ooh.
Bandcamp, the indie music site, joined Epic. Bandcamp helps indie musicians reach fans online today, and we're going to build metaverse opportunities for all musicians in the future. Fortnite thrived during this time. We launched 2 major chapters,
No shit.
lots of seasons, and brought the Fortnite audience up to 500 million player accounts.
I feel like Fortnite's gonna be
Travis
like the
Scott
real
launched the
metaverse.
Astronomical
Like everybody's
concert in
trying to make
Fortnite.
it.
500
Ariana Grande
million?
launched
Yeah.
the Rift Tour.
Jesus.
And so overall, Fortnite
Well, it's
had
like
a really great
it's like
time
a
with
fucking
tons and tons
social
of
thing
players
now. It's
enjoying, and the world
turning into
constantly
something
evolving.
more than just.
We also
battle
learned
royale.
some hard lessons.
It's just wild.
Epic entered
Fucking
into
crazy.
a massive
That's
settlement with the FTC.
unfathomable.
And it
about
really
people.
brought home to us and to the whole industry that kids
Rob,
and
dude.
technology
Yeah.
are a pressing
Lately.
topic for all developers to take seriously, and that the expectations of regulators here in the United States and around the world are much higher than ever before. And so we've done a lot over the past few years to improve things. We've added huge sets of new parental controls into Fortnite and the Epic Games Store, and new child safety features like cabined accounts. And being Epic, when we solve a problem for ourselves, we like to bring it to all other developers so they can benefit from the work. And to that end, Super Awesome joined Epic. Super Awesome makes verifiable parental consent tools. They're available to all developers for free, so it becomes much easier to comply with all
kinda
the
good they dabble
regulatory
with stuff like
laws
that,
around
considering
children's access to games
The
worldwide.
vast amount, the huge
Unreal Engine
variety
5
of
into
types of
early
people who
access
play
during the pandemic. We went through a
Fortnite.
year.
It's probably good to
Yes.
have that.
Went through a year of early access, followed by release. We updated Fortnite to Unreal Engine 5, and then we spent a whole year visually upgrading Fortnite to the latest capabilities of Unreal Engine 5, which we launched late last year, and we'll be showing later in this show. Epic Games Store also thrived. The player base has grown massively during this time to over 230 million players on PC. We've paid out more than $1 billion to all developers. And we've also just very recently launched self-publishing, so it's easier than ever before to launch your game to all customers in the PC market.
It's good. They need to have that to be competitive with Steam.
88% of all revenue. But that's a summary of the past, and this State of Unreal is about the future. So I'd like to invite Nick Penwarden to come up and talk about Unreal Engine 5.2. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Thanks, Tim. And hi, everyone. I'm excited to get to show you
like
some of the new experimental features we've been working on for Unreal Engine 5.2. Let's take a look.
Those eyebrows.
All right, so last year, we added several new features to the engine to support foliage rendering, and the Fortnite team used those features to ship Battle Royale Chapter 4. At the same time, Jacob over there and the team at Quixel were experimenting with what's possible for photoreal foliage environments, as well as testing out the latest functionality that we've been building for Unreal Engine. So, Jacob's here with us today in the Unreal Editor. Let's explore the environment. And what better way to do that than off-roading? And what better way to off-road than in a Rivian R1T? Now, Rivian uses Unreal to power their instrument cluster, including 3D visualization of their vehicles. So we worked with them to bring the R1T to life in this experience. Let's head on out, Jacob.
Sure thing, on my way.
All right. So we're building tools for interactive and dynamic worlds. So here we have chaos physics simulating rocks that tumble as we drive over them, leaves bend out of the way, and we also added some real-time fluid simulation.
Okay.
We worked with the team at Rivian to set up Unreal's chaos vehicle model to simulate the suspension of the truck and how the electric motors drive each individual wheel. Chaos also simulates how the tires compress and deform, and Metasounds enabled the team to precisely resynthesize the sounds of the electric motors and mix them with the ambisonics of the jungle.
The lighting's so good.
Yeah,
So Rivian provided us with
undercarriage
a
view of the
truck,
dust and rocks moving, and then the water moving
that we're able
was
to render in real time,
quite nice.
Thanks to Nanite. Now, the Rivian not only looks incredibly realistic because of Lumen and Nanite, but also its materials. And today, we're introducing Substrate, our new material framework. And to better demonstrate it, let's swap the paint out for Opal. Now, of course, you can't order a Rivian with Opal body panels, but Opal was the internal code name for this project, and also a really great demonstration of Substrate's capabilities. The base layer models the iridescence, refraction, and reflections that occur inside of an opal.
The way the light is interacting with that
representing
is
the polished surface
really good.
And how light is absorbed as it travels through that clear layer of varying depths. And now we can add back on the dust and dirt layers. And notice how the reflection changes when interacting with the dust layer, and that there are no artifacts along the transition from dirt to dust to opal. So Substrate is more expressive, enabling artists to create materials like this with different shading models and compose and layer those materials as they see fit. All right,
that tire is
head on out,
fucking...
Jacob.
The way it's like molded to the rock, it's really crazy looking.
Yeah.
Substrate materials that are similar to the current Unreal Engine shading model cost about the same. But now, artists have the freedom to author more complex materials for extremely detailed use cases, like in cinematics and in film. So we're going to drive under this fallen tree here, and everything that you've seen
looks
up
really
to
good.
this point was painstakingly hand-built by the environment team at Quixel. Everything since that fallen tree has been built using our brand new experimental suite of procedural content generation tools. Entirely an engine that are flexible, deterministic, and
Yeah, I think
artist-driven.
this is the thing I was telling you
Our
about that I
guiding
saw a clip
principle in
of.
building these systems was to empower artists to make tools for artists. So Jacob's going to go ahead and add a procedural assembly to the world. And the cool thing is that it communicates. Thank you. Yeah. Pretty cool. And the cool thing is that it communicates with other nearby procedural elements in the scene.
Ubisoft's
like the
gonna be
creek
all
bed.
over that, dude.
So let's say a designer comes by,
Making the
wants to
biggest
direct the
maps ever,
player
super
to drive to the
detailed.
left.
They're too busy
Jacob
working
can
on
simply
AI
move the
stuff right
assembly
now.
to the right,
Yeah, they have that
and
thing where
everything
they're
updates to accommodate that change.
gonna have AI help write stories.
Game design is iterative, so let's say the designer comes back, wants to give the player the choice of going left or right again. Jacob can simply move the assembly back over. Now, the artist who created this assembly also added some additional handles that Jacob can use to art direct where rock slides occur. Allows him to customize the piece
It's
a little
amazing
bit
because back
more,
in the day,
make
like
it a
you could
little
like bring
easier
in
for
like an
the
asset on a
drive by.
map editor or whatever, and
So we
just like a
started by
building with no,
handcrafting
like, you know,
that original
it's
part of the level,
textured, but there's
set
no
the visuals
details
and
to
art
it. You can
direction
slide
for the
around like
entire
that.
piece,
But now you have
and
something
then
that
built out
detail with how much
procedural tools
foliage and
that allowed
stuff
the
you're
teams to
sliding
get
around.
much
Like it's
larger
crazy
play
good
space
in real
much more
time.
quickly.
Well, and that it's adapting to
Now
try
let's
to
see
Yeah.
how we
to
can use
blend.
these procedural tools
And I'm sure you
to
can just
make
get
larger
hands on with
sweeping
it after
changes to
that.
the environment. So Jacob, let's start by removing some of the trees in this area.
Absolutely, that's easy enough actually.
All right, a little too much. Let's add some trees back in.
Okay.
And let's also add in some cliff formations, give it a little bit more variability. So the procedural systems are all deterministic. As Jacob is experimenting with different sets of input parameters, once he finds a set that he likes, he can always go back to it and get out exactly the same results. And the procedural systems aren't just placing trees and rocks, but also fog cards, bugs, birds, everything that's needed to bring this environment
Yeah,
to
just
life.
pair that with AI.
And
they're just
everything
gonna
that
be
you've
like,
seen
oh,
here
I need
looks at
a
scale.
mountainous
This
place.
environment is 4 kilometers by 4
Just generate
kilometers.
it.
If we hide all of the procedural elements, we can see that original hand-built area, about 200 meters by 200
Oh, interesting.
meters.
That's cool. You can separate them.
We believe that there will always be the need for hand-building environments, so we design these procedural systems to be tools for artists that work in concert with hand-built content. Both Substrate and the new procedural tools will be available in experimental form in 5.2. And everything you've seen
And it's
here
essentially like
is running in the
when you have a
Unreal Editor
character
in real time
editor
on
and
a
you
developer
just
machine
start with a
an
template
Intel
and then build off of
13900K
that.
CPU and NVIDIA
I think only
RTX
lazy
4090
people will
GPU.
just like
So Jacob,
generate
thanks for
shit
being
and be
here
done with
helping
it.
us out today.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Nick, for having me. It's been
It's
a
also
pleasure.
not smart because then you have to go through and test it constantly, see if there's any holes anywhere and stuff like that. It'd be better if you're just more hands-on with it.
All right, so come visit us at the Unreal Engine booth on the expo floor. You can check out this demo for yourself. And this afternoon, here in the YBCA, we'll have a tech talk diving into the details behind this demo. In addition, the Preview 1 build of Unreal Engine 5.2 is available now. So you can test out all of the experimental new features we showed today, as well as numerous other improvements. Head over to the Epic Games Store to download the binary build and also get the full source code from the Unreal Engine repository on GitHub. Now, I found that we make the best technology for developers when we use it ourselves, when we really put the engine through its paces, both through tech demos like this one, as well as full game productions. So to talk about how the Fortnite team used the latest Unreal Engine 5 capabilities to ship Battle Royale Chapter 4, please help me welcome John Loff.
Thanks, Nick. For Chapter 4, we wanted to show Fortnite in a way players had never seen before. We upgraded with broad strokes, using Lumen, Nanite, and other UE5 tech. We worked directly with the engine team to improve these features and ensure they scaled on all platforms Fortnite ships on. First up was lighting. Now,
Remember
our options
playing,
in the past to improve lighting have been somewhat limited because Fortnite is a really dynamic
what was
game.
later called Save the World Edition
Fake lighting
before
just doesn't
it was
work
an
because the
official
moment a
release
player
of the
destroys
game.
a wall,
Yeah, before
light
Battle
maps are
Royale
invalid.
existed.
Well, even,
I paid for
We were
early
really
access.
excited
yeah,
to give Lumen
to
a
that.
shot. It updates
Because originally it was supposed to be like
in real
a
time as the
kind of like
environment
multiplayer
changes.
co-op survival style
Early in
game.
Chapter
Yeah.
4 development, we captured a video of Lumen enabled in a
It's
Fortnite
weird to see how
test
far it's
build.
come.
And the player in the video destroyed a wall, and light just came flooding into the room. And honestly, it was pretty stunning.
Yeah, it
it
looked
brought
really
new
good.
life to the environment, and the realistic bounce light worked great with Fortnite's vibrant style. While initial results were exciting, nothing is that easy in game dev. And as we discovered, real-world lighting can create real-world problems. Playtests revealed areas of the map, like attics and basements, that had no windows and were just too dark for gameplay. And it was also the first time we were using auto exposure, and it was causing bloomed out areas when players were in dark interiors looking outside. We solved these issues using UE5 features like local exposure and some art directable controls within Lumen that enabled us to provide a final image much better for gameplay. While the art team refined
That
content,
does look way better.
the engine team provided some new scalability options so that we could run Lumen on next-gen consoles at 60 frames per second. In addition to lighting, Nanite opened the door for us
Half
to
the time I
add
see this game
incredible
anymore, I don't even know what
detail
it
to the
is.
Fortnite island.
I'll see a clip sometimes on
introduced
Twitter,
in
and
UE5
they're
as
like,
a
"Oh,
virtualized
Fortnite." I'm looking, I'm
geometry
like, "What is?
system
That's
that supports
Fortnite?"
extreme mesh complexity.
Yeah.
So we spent some time experimenting, looking for a good balance between stylized art direction and detail, so we could increase visual quality, but still maintain Fortnite's iconic style. Now that artists weren't limited by triangle counts, we scaled our content pipelines to support Nanite on high-end hardware. Tech artists modeled new vegetation assets, and the art team created some high-detailed props and some amazing hero assets. But this still left us with a large building library that needed a visual upgrade. We resolved this using an offline process that took displacement maps from our materials and created
It's funny because it's like
high-resolution
cartoony
Nanite
looking, but like
meshes.
graphically, it's like good too. Like
Really
it's
cool
it's
to see these
confusing
classic
looking.
Fortnite materials like brick, stone, and wood get a high-resolution facelift and pop off their surfaces.
Especially because
Now, past
like
Nanite demos have relied
it still
on
just looks like
static hard
Fortnite,
surface
but it looks so much better than it
But
used to
Fortnite's
look.
an animated
Yeah.
world.
It's crazy.
Trees blow in the wind, and buildings wobble when hit. So we worked with the Nanite team, and they extended the material pipeline to include masked and animated materials on Nanite geometry. The island in Fortnite is constantly evolving, with major changes each season and complete reboots when chapters launch. So it's essential that we evolve our workflows too. During Chapter 4 development, we started utilizing 2 new UE5 features that changed how we build levels: World Partition and one file per actor. World Partition automates the level streaming, and it allowed us to work in one large level. We use level instance actors to group content logically, like a building and all of its props. One file per actor
funny how
ensured
this
our
game is
large
like
dev team could work in this space
a means for them to have
without
like
source
constant
control
revenue, but
conflicts.
it's also like a
Now,
place for them
these
to
features hadn't yet
experiment
been
with
put in
their engine.
faces by a large dev team, so
Yeah, it's
there were
also
some
huge
early bumps in the
advertisement
road.
too.
Yeah.
Like it's
But RLDs were in
Whatever you
daily
feel about
communication
Fortnite,
with
it's
the
kind
engine
of-
team, and we saw consistent.
I don't even think it was on purpose, but like
Not
it
long in
became almost this
production,
like genius
we were
thing
developing
for Unreal,
Fortnite
because
in a
Unreal's
much
been
more
around
collaborative environment.
forever.
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 3
Our goal
was
for
like
Chapter
huge,
4
4
was
was
to deliver an
huge,
awesome
but
experience
like the
to our
average person
players.
didn't give a fuck about
We
Unreal.
also
But then
hope by
Fortnite comes
using and
out and it's
improving the
like
engine's newest
between
features,
that, their
we've improved your
storefront,
experience as well.
and
Now,
their
with
engine,
the look-
being
with the
licensed
look
to
of the
everybody.
amazing work developers are
It is kind of a
already
weird
doing in
place where
UE5.
they can
Please
showcase
welcome
Unreal
Dana
to
Cowley.
everybody because it's got the biggest audience. It's really crazy.
You know, even when you have great tools and amazing content at
Yeah,
your
it's like the
fingertips,
first Unreal
making
5
games is
game
hard.
was
And it gets
Fortnite
even
as a
trickier when you're
showcase.
trying to ship while you're upgrading your features. And we put a lot of effort into making sure that the transition from UE4 to UE5 was as smooth as possible, and you've proven that it worked. And we've been impressed with all of the teams who have made the jump over so quickly. You know, many of you moved your games over right in the middle of development, and quite a few of you have left internal tech in favor of UE5. And as of last month, 77% of all Unreal Engine users are on UE5, and that's rapid adoption en masse. And over 750,000 of you are actively building with Unreal Engine each and every month. You've invested in us, and we're investing in you. And beyond games, you're telling amazing stories across live action and animated entertainment. And to date, more than 550 television and film projects have been made with Unreal Engine in production.
It's crazy.
Now, these are some of the leading studios using UE5 today. This represents a brain trust of talented game developers from all over the world, and it's getting bigger every day. You've validated that we're on the right path, and we're blown away by how you've embraced the tools and shown us what's possible. And now, you're about to hear from several talented teams who are bringing their awesome games to PC, console, and mobile. First up, we have Qubit Studios, a a small team whose game, Infinitesimals, has not only received an Epic Mega Grant, but is also coming to the Epic Games Store with the help of Epic Games Publishing. Here to give you an exclusive new look is Michael Fortnie.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I was invited here today to share our story with you. Qubit Studios is a small studio from Europe, and we have one mission: to bring the world of Infinitesimals to life. In our first game, you play as Captain Orkney Rolling Rake, as he and his crew explore a mysterious planet filled with lush environments. Now, a universe is already big at our scale, but when your main character is only a few millimeters tall, it takes on a whole new meaning. As a studio, we have big ideas. As a small team, we need to make choices. And that's where switching from UE4 to UE5 made a big difference for us.
It's nice that people are
It has
able to
empowered
just
us,
transition
giving us
over to
time
UE5
back.
so easily, because like a bunch of people
Let me take
did
you
it.
through
I mean,
a
they
few
just said
examples.
that, but like I remember
As
when
Orkney
they're
is very
rolling it
small,
out,
we
they're like,
want
"Oh, we're
players
moving
truly
to
feel a sense of
UE5."
scale
Yeah, well, I
by
mean,
having a
yeah,
large
like you
space
said,
to
she
explore.
said it with like
By using
77%
world
of
partition in UE5,
people making
we
Unreal
managed to
games
save
with Unreal
most of
are
their
on
time.
5 now.
Not just
Yeah, I
because of the
wonder
size of the world,
why some people are
but also
sticking with
because
4.
we can build
They
on
might
top
just be
of
too
it.
far into their
It allowed
project
us to
that they
spatialize
just want
a
to
lot
get
of
done first or
systems
something.
very quickly.
Yeah, I can see that.
And with the built-in HLOD, we get strong runtime performance while being able to load the entire world visually in Editor. A large world is great, but
God,
it
look at
doesn't do
that
us any
reflection
good
on the
if it's
ground.
empty.
Yeah.
And that's where the new fact actors and level
That's the thing.
instances
This
came in
happened
handy.
with Unreal
A
Engine
level
3 as
designer
well.
can use prefabs
but
to quickly prototype ideas, while
The
artists
graphics
can
are almost
refine
like
those
cheap now
prefabs
because
in
you can
Editor
achieve such
by
good
assembling
graphics so
assets
easily
together.
now that
And with one file per
a game that
actor,
could be
it all
subpar could look
happens in
amazing.
parallel.
And
Yeah.
you play it and you're just like, well, this
On the
game's not that
animation
great.
side,
It's kind of fucking
motion
amateur.
warping allows us to
But
use
Unreal's
single
done such a good
animation
job on making it
for a
look
large
good.
range of
Like, because that looks
situations.
fantastic.
And with
But I'm looking at the
Overlay,
animations,
we can quickly
and I don't
create
know, but like,
those
you know,
first-pass
it could be
animations in
whatever.
Editor.
I remember
But
we've talked
the
about it a million
most
times, but like
outstanding
Unreal Engine
features
3,
are on the
a
knife
bunch of games
and
played
ruler.
almost exactly the same because they're using
We
like the
don't need to
base
spend
fucking
time on
systems,
topology optimization
barely building
and
upon
can
it.
directly use high poly meshes. Lighting is more realistic, and we don't have to
But it
use
excites me for
tricks
indie
to transition
developers
between
having access to
exterior
shit like
and
this.
interior. All in all, working with UE5 has been a tremendous time saver for us, and upgrading from UE4 was surprisingly easy. We were up and running in a couple of days. We can now iterate more quickly, focus
it's crazy.
on gameplay,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
allocate
that's
time
insane.
to riskier ideas. But enough talking. Go on the Epic Games Store and wishlist the game now. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Your team has built a beautiful game, Michael. Fantastic work. Now, our next partner is one that needs little introduction. Kabam develops and publishes world-class, highly social, multiplayer mobile games. And today, they are here to make a special announcement.
Who?
Please join me in welcoming Vice President of Product, Tyler Black.
Find out in a second. Kabam.
It's just like, they don't need introduction.
Thank you,
Kabam.
Dana, for that kind introduction. Hi, everyone. At Kabam, we've worked with the world's biggest brands and created our own stories to bring some of the most successful mobile games to players. Today, we're proud to announce a new project, one that ushers in a whole new era for Kabam. King Arthur, Legends Rise. It's a new cross-platform squad RPG set in a stunning reimagined Arthurian world. When we began this ambitious project, we knew that Unreal Engine was the only solution that had the tools to bring incredible visuals to both mobile and PC at launch. So here's how we put those tools to use. King Arthur Legends Rise allows players to explore campaign stages and interact with their environment using a variety of animations. If we were to use traditional animation techniques, the number of assets that we would need would be massive. Thanks to Unreal's advanced animation technology like IK rig retargeting, motion warping, and property access, we can create high-quality, detailed, and attractive animations with relatively few resources. But that isn't the only way that we're using Unreal Engine 5's tools to deepen the player experience. We're also making use of dynamic weather to affect character
I
strength.
think that drives me
and
nuts
other
about
stats and keep the
these
battle
style of
gameplay
mobile
fresh
games,
and
right? Because
immersive.
like like Clash of Clans.
That's all from us
and
today.
Stuff like that.
We can't wait to share more with you about King Arthur Legends Rise in the
And
coming
maybe I
months.
have the wrong name there.
So check out our website.
What's the one that everyone always advertises?
Stay up to date on our newest game.
Raid. That's the one. Yeah, the animation's always like super cool or whatever, but I'm like,
Now, the next developer coming
the game
to
itself
stage
I'm
was
just not
founded a few years
into.
ago,
So
and they're already making a big name for
You know,
themselves.
and looked into them.
Hexworks is a CI game studio, and they are capturing the imaginations of fans of dark fantasy with their new action RPG, Lords of the Fallen. Creative director Cesar Vitosu is here to give you an exclusive look at how they're using UE5 to build one of this year's most highly anticipated games.
Thank you, Dana.
Looks pretty cool.
Thank you, Dana, for the introduction and handling my name so graciously. Hello, everyone. I am very excited to be here and represent Hexworks, our incredibly talented multinational team behind Lords of the Fallen, our upcoming dark fantasy action RPG. And today we'll be sharing how Unreal Engine 5 has helped bring our highly ambitious and decidedly grim vision to life. Please enjoy.
Welcome to the Lords of the Fallen Technical Showcase. Here at Hexworks, our goal has always been to create the most immersive game experience possible. Today, we're journeying to Skyrest Bridge, one of the game's early locations, to demonstrate just some of the impressive ways Unreal Engine 5's state-of-the-art technologies have helped us deliver on this ambitious vision for our upcoming action RPG. We want players to feel fully immersed in our world by playing as their own unique virtual persona. To achieve this, we've used a combination of technologies, including 3D scans of real people
much prefer
and UE5's
this new visual
own
style
character
over the last
customization
game.
tech.
wasn't the last one like
Players can create
very Blizzard-esque looking?
It looked, yeah, it had like huge shoulder.
Yeah, this is way better.
Armor
a
and
huge
shit.
range of shapes before finessing the finer details. Our extensive selection
That
of
guy was
armor
fucking
sets
thick.
seamlessly adapt to
Yeah, this definitely
whatever shape the player
feels
chooses.
more
It's really
inspired
important to
by,
us that we represent
a
as
Souls
wide a
game,
proportion
but
of our audience
I
as
definitely
possible.
prefer the way it looks.
Being able to customize your hero in Lords of the Fallen is only the beginning. Each and every one of our characters is incredibly detailed, using high-resolution textures. Get up close to any surface in the game, like this tunic for example, and detailed texturing provides incredible levels of micro-detail.
That's pretty good.
How these
No
objects
one's ever gonna see it,
move
but
and
it's
behave
appreciated.
is also crucial for player immersion. UE5's Chaos Physics engine facilitates advanced simulations for clothes, chains, hair, belts, and a whole lot more. This helps to substantially enhance the secondary motion in all our characters, making their movements look much more lifelike. The lighting in Lords of the Fallen takes full advantage of Unreal's brand new
It's nice to
Lumen
actually
GI.
see
We've been able to light
in-game
our
stuff, not just a
complex
trailer with
environment
flashing
in real time.
Yeah.
scenes.
Meaning we can immediately see the effect of a light bounce, for example, without waiting for the traditional slow baking processes. Watch how the lighting reacts as we move our light source around this environment.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny because I remember like I think it
Global
was Unreal
illumination
3
like this can
where
be
it
quite
started,
demanding
but
on
like where
processing.
things would
So
load in
we
like
also
layer
make
by
use
layer
of
almost, and so
emissive
lighting
shapes
would look
to
kind
add
of weird
additional
until
details to the
finally
lighting
as
of
you
any
ordered
space.
it baked in.
We can then fine-tune these light bounces on our nanite meshes, providing our world with impressive levels of detail.
Well, they're doing it in
and
real time,
minimal
which is kind of
impact
crazy. Because
on
before you
performance.
used to have to put in light sources, and then you could
Perhaps
dictate where the
most
light was at,
important
or whatever.
element
But
of
now,
Lords of the
like,
Fallen is the
they're just showing like
ability
you could just
to
create a light source
travel
and move
between
it,
two
and it's
worlds.
casting that light
The
in.
realm of the living, Axiom, and the realm of the dead, Umbral. We've created our own custom toolset within UE5 that allows us to intricately craft these two environments side by side and seamlessly swap between them. This means our artists and designers can ensure these worlds feel intrinsically linked, like two sides of the same coin, even if one side is decidedly more horrific than the other. On behalf of Hexworks, thanks for watching today's brief
kind
tech
of
presentation.
stoked to play
The
this
twin
game.
realms of Umbral and
Looks fucking
Axiom
cool.
await
Yeah, this is
fearless
way
adventurers
sad
later
that this
year,
tech
when
demonstration
Lords of the
was
Fallen
more
launches on PC and
impressive
current-gen
than their
consoles.
trailer.
The trailer was cool because it showed tonally it's a different looking game than the original. But yeah, seeing that kind of showed me the game's actually like pretty good looking. The animations were good. It sounds like they're adding their own systems on Unreal and stuff. So
Characters don't look like football players.
Yeah.
They've been pushing the boundaries of cinematic storytelling.
I thought Lords of
and
the Fallen,
results
the
speak
Lords
for
of the Fallen. I don't
themselves.
remember what the original one.
Here
Lords
with
of the Fallen.
more is NCSoft's
Anyway.
Chief Strategy Officer, Dr. Sung-Yi Yoon.
Had some cool ideas, but it felt like Dark Souls light.
Yeah.
It felt like a dollar store Dark Souls.
We have Dark Souls
Thank
at home.
you so much for
Yeah.
the introduction, Dana. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited
She's
to
from
share
NCSoft?
our
Yeah,
latest
cool.
production, Project M, with you today.
Yeah, they've been busy lately.
As you may know,
Because they were real quiet for a while.
NCSoft is recognized
I covered this
as
on
one of the
TikTok.
best MMORPG developers, thanks to our blockbuster franchises like Lineage and Guild Wars. However, we're not content with this achievement. We're always pushing for boundaries and exploring new technologies. So let me introduce Project M to you. It is our latest innovation, harnessing the power of cutting-edge AI and graphics technology to an unprecedented level. With the help of Unreal Engine, we have achieved our vision for Project M with seamlessly integrating our foundational AI technology, resulting in breathtaking detail. So to give you a sneak peek, we have prepared a video featuring our CEO and Chief Creative Officer, TJ, who will personally guide you through our newest creation as a digital version of himself. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you enjoy Project M.
Appreciate her pauses and clear communication. It's very easy to listen to her. A lot of times when people get up there, they just kind of keep talking, and I can't.
Project M is one of NCSoft's most
Intake it
ambitious
all
projects to date.
that quickly. So.
What would it mean to you if the world was comprised of informational particles instead of physical particles? Oh, I got a little ahead of myself. I am TJ Kemp from NCSoft. Welcome to Project M. How would the fabric of simulated reality change our perceived world if we could tamper with the arrangement of those particles? This very idea is what sparked Project M. The informational particles that shape Project M's world can transform reality based on your choices. And each choice you make will change your experience.
So they're making a fucking Quantum Dream game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like their take on that type of game, which is fine because not a lot of people make that kind of stuff. So
It's weird because like a lot of this all looks like it's all pre-rendered, of course, but like a lot of this looks like compressed.
Yeah.
Like it's like a cinematic that they made in engine, but it's like
information
playing
that
like a video
exists in
file. But then
present
like a
reality
second ago, it looked like it was
determines how
actually
the
in
world will
engine, so it's
unfold.
interesting. It looked like, you know, what you would see if you're playing the game.
right.
It's interesting what they're doing, like the way they're presenting this, because like I honestly don't think it looks like the concept looks interesting, but like the graphics are
Value
not that
every
impressive.
encounter and
But I
every
think it's
moment.
compressed.
These will be essential in the world of Project M.
Well, they just
This
it's
is
a
where our
prepared
journey ends
video
from now.
as
Yeah.
well. So
I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, but I
all
didn't feel that
again
way
soon.
when we were seeing Lords of the Fallen, which is also, you know, pre-rendered, but it's interesting. It's
It
interesting
is.
that's an NCSoft thing.
It will-
It doesn't seem like an MMO.
Thank you,
right.
Dr. Yoon.
It's also
Project M is looking
kind of
amazing, and it's
tricky
unlike
too
anything we've
because
seen.
like
And thanks to all the
game
teams
like that, you
that
have
given
to
us a
have
new
you
look at your
have to have
incredible
good
games.
story.
Yeah.
Like
It's
we
gonna
just saw,
carry the
the
whole
world
game.
you're
Yeah, if you have a
building
shit story, no one's going to want to continue.
awesome-looking
Yeah.
characters with loads of detail and authenticity. And our team understands that believable digital humans are at the heart of great storytelling. And for more on that, I'm happy to hand it over to our CTO, Kim Libreri.
Thanks, Dana. Thank you. Some incredible games, sir. Hey, everybody. Wow,
up,
it's
bro?
great to be back after 4 years. It's good to see you all. So, it's been 2 years since we released Metahuman Creator. This cloud-hosted tool allows you to create photorealistic digital humans for your game or experience with the simplicity of an RPG character creator, yet with a level of realism and customization that you've never seen before. Our community has created millions of metahumans for their Unreal projects, and the work we've seen has been unbelievably breathtaking. And I'm sure a bunch of you in the audience are actually making metahumans as well. Let's take a look at some of this work.
I like how one of those was called unannounced project.
It's interesting they would even show it.
Amazing. You know, there isn't a day that, thank you. So there isn't a day that goes by that we don't see some post on LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever showing us amazing usage of metahumans. And I think it's been a really big game changer for anybody trying to tell a story in their game or their experience. But today we want to take things to the next level. So I'm going to actually introduce two of my most favorite friends to the stage. Our head of digital human technology.
I hate how half the show is, let me introduce this person to talk about something. Let me introduce this person.
My most favorite friends.
Juergens. How are you both doing?
We're good, thank you.
It's been a while since we were last on this stage. In fact, I think it was 7 years ago that we went through this ordeal.
That's a long time ago.
A little bit of PTSD triggering there.
Yeah, talk
But it
about a
was the
studio
first
that
time
can
we
make
all came
facial
together.
animations.
Ninja Theory, Epic, Cubic Motion, 3Lateral, to do something that we thought would wow audiences here and sort of set a template for the future of using characters in games. So anyway, I think we're in a pretty amazing place right now with the industry, but we do want to take things to the next level. And what I want to do a little bit about is how's things going at Ninja Theory? How's the new game going?
Yeah, the team and I are doing really good, and we're just extremely busy working on the follow-up to the first Hellblade, which will be called Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
This game's taking forever
First
to
game
come
was
out,
fantastic.
though. It's insane how long ago that was announced.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave the stage and let these two take over. Go and blow people's minds.
Thank
See
you.
later.
Hi, everyone.
Coming soon to your GTX 6000s here.
Our guiding vision for Metahuman has been the democratization of complex character technologies, allowing you to work faster and see the results immediately. A character is only truly believable if its motion fidelity matches its visual fidelity, but animating at this level is a hard task for even the most skilled studios. Some of our best work leveraged 4D capture, but this took specialized hardware and weeks or even months of processing time. While Metahuman Creator gave you the ability to generate high-quality characters, animating them still wasn't as easy. This is why I'm very excited to announce a new capability to the Metahuman product, Metahuman Animator. Metahuman Animator contains the essence of our 4D pipeline, but optimized to run on a single machine. It is able to use iPhone, as well as stereo professional systems, and today, we're going to demonstrate how it works. For this, we're going to need Mel, our technician John Cook, and just the phone. Mel, can you take your position, please?
Sure.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, and action.
I need performance capture to work like a mirror. I need it to capture whether I'm acting scared or angry. And sometimes, all I need is a look.
Cut. Thanks, Mel, that was great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Our technician, John, is currently pulling Mel's performance from the phone onto his machine where everything will be processed locally.
I have a feeling
We have
this is
updated the
probably
live
the
interface
most
mobile app
impressive
to
thing
capture
I've
all
seen
data
on
at
this
the
so
best
far.
resolution possible with the device. Metahuman Animator uses video and depth data to convert this data into high-fidelity performance animation, and it can even use audio to produce convincing tongue animation. John is currently scrubbing through the take to pick the section that he wants to process. John, are we all good with the data? Awesome. So from now on, it's just a single button click to kick off the processing, which for a performance of this length will take less than a minute to convert.
It's funny how just like digital
well, that is processing. Let me show you something
machine,
else.
not learning, but
Yeah, this is
systems
what we
can
refer to
can
as
do
your
what a
Metahuman
bunch of
view.
hardware used to
And
do.
this is generated by the capture we made earlier, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and
so
they
from
made a
only
point
3
to say
frames
that
of video and
being able to
data,
do this
we can
using
generate a
one
rig that
machine
predicts
instead
all
of
your
like
facial
before
expressions
you would
in
use
just a couple
multiple.
of minutes.
Wow. And do you only need to do this once for each actor?
Yes, that's right. It calibrates the solver to your face so that we can produce the performance in a
This is
way that
gonna this kind of
produces
stuff
your
right here.
Yeah. So let's check back on the
Its
on the
applications
processing,
are way beyond gaming.
which today is on the
Oh,
latest
yeah.
CPU and GPU hardware from AMD. Metahuman Animator uses a custom epic facial solver and landmark detector. We can interactively look at the animation while it's being solved and compare it to your original performance. So it looks like it's almost finished. After this, it's going to do one more pass to make the curves more stable. Just really quick. And from here on, we just need to export the animation. This takes only a few seconds. And then John needs to drop it in the level and add the audio so that we can see the result. So Mel's Metahuman should now be ready.
It's crazy that he's just kind of doing this on the fly too.
Can't wait to see it.
I'm sure he knows the system in and out.
I need performance capture to work like a mirror. I need it to capture whether I'm acting scared
what the
or
fuck?
angry.
That's great.
And sometimes all I need is a look.
Outside of the eyes looking, still kind of dead. That was very good.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Thank you all. So, Mel, what do you think?
I think it's incredible because it usually takes months between performance capture and getting any results back. So this is
Yeah.
I'm sure to get higher
All of
quality
this is solved
facial
directly onto
mocapping, you're still
Animator
going to
friendly
use,
controls.
more.
In this case,
but
we are using a
it's
bespoke
insane they're
audio rig,
even able to
which we
do
created
that.
together with Ninja Theory for Hellblade 2.
Well, yeah,
But it's also
they're
ready to
showing
use on
being
any
able to
Metahuman
manipulate it right
or
there.
any other
Yeah,
rig
so-
that follows our new Metahuman standard. Let's have a look at that.
I need performance capture to work like a mirror. I need it to capture whether I'm acting scared.
Holy crap.
And sometimes all I need is a look.
So the scene take works even on stylized characters.
That's fucking crazy.
Thank you all.
It's so
These
weird to see,
technologies
and
are
it's all tech,
completely
but like
redefining
just
our
things
creative
get easier and
process,
easier and
as they will
easier, like with that
redefine yours.
Quixel thing where you can
When we release
scan real
Metahuman
shit
Animator
into
to everyone
digital
in just a couple
properties
of
and
months.
being able to do that on your phone now.
We've
and
got one more thing we'd like to show you.
I don't
We
know.
haven't
It's-
forgotten
it's
about
fucking
the needs
insane.
for full performance
Yeah.
capture shoots. What you're about to see is animation that has not been polished or edited in any way, and it took Metahuman
Well, they
Animator
even like,
just
like
minutes to process.
for myself, like I enjoy watching like
Yeah, so here's one of my favorite lines
VTubers
from
and
Ninja
stuff like
Theory's
that.
upcoming game,
But the
Senua's Saga
3D
Hellblade
aspect
2,
of VTubers is
and I
always
really
kind
hope you
of
enjoy
weird
it
still.
and the rest of the
Stuff
show.
like that's
Thank you
just
very
gonna
much.
make it so much
Thank you.
crazier in the future.
Yeah.
So
They said this is done with the phone with no touch-ups or anything.
Cut, take 13.
Oh, this is the thing I got on Twitter was talking about. Got it.
I see through your darkness now. I see through your lies. I will show them how to see as I do. I will not appease your gods. I will destroy them.
that's good looking.
The eyes are really well done. The reflection on them.
Yeah.
Good? You like it?
I got kind of goosebumps from that. That was crazy.
Some guy had like a
Man, was that
screenshot of that and
All right,
the
let's
original
talk about
trailer
the future
for
of our creator
that game,
marketplaces.
and the guy was
We all
like,
know
"It's
one
a
of the biggest
downgrade
challenges
visually."
in
I'm
game
like,
development is the time and
"Fucking
cost
a
associated with
downgrade?
making
What are you
great art
talking
and
about? It
visually
looks
stunning
amazing."
environments.
Get out of here.
Now, we've seen that by giving you access to high-quality, game-ready assets like
I think he was like a
Megascans, world
PlayStation
building can be faster,
like fanboy though,
more
where he was
efficient,
just
and
trying
more
to downplay
economical.
anything that Xbox was
The
doing.
resulting explosion of
Which,
creativity
you know, I don't like
we've
that with
seen from
any
our
direction.
Unreal Engine
So
developer community has
get
been
out of
awesome.
here.
In fact,
that was
it's
incredible
inspired us
looking.
to double down on a mission that started several years ago.
Yeah.
Especially if it's
Since the
true
launch
that
of
you
Unreal
just use the
Engine
phone for
Marketplace
that.
in
That's fucking
2014,
insane.
We've been working to aggregate and organize all the world's best digital assets for you to use in your work. In 2018, we joined forces with Quixel, whose Megascans have now been downloaded over 40 million times. In 2021, ArtStation became part of the Epic family, and we welcomed a community of the world's best digital artists who've since uploaded
I think
nearly
Unreal
12
just
million
wants to be
projects the
like
site.
your go-to,
Later that same
do
year,
anything
Sketchfab joined
digitally
Epic,
fucking
and now has
place.
more than 10 million registered
Well, I mean,
users.
of course they
using
do.
the
Yeah.
platform.
Sure, but I mean, like it sounds like
Discover,
they're doing it.
share,
Like they're
and
they're
manage
getting
3D
all
models
these
on the
different
web.
things, and like
Now, each of these businesses has their own
earlier they
unique
said like they own
superpowers.
Bandcamp
Incredible
or whatever,
content, of
which
course,
I
vibrant
forgot
communities, and
that
killer
even happened.
capabilities.
I mean, they're showing
We're now
4
working to bring all this
companies
together
right
into a
there
unified
that are
offering.
all theirs
Let's take a look.
at this point.
And stuff like this is gonna kill fucking Hollywood.
Wow, Hollywood's killing Hollywood, but yes.
Sure, but fucking this is a viable replacement.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Where any person could just do some like facial no-capping or stand in front of a green screen and use Unreal for your environments and just make movies. Like,
Later this year, we'll be merging our content offerings into a new unified creator marketplace called Fab. Built on the strong foundation of Sketchfab.com, we're going to drop the Sketch and go all in on Fab. Fab will be an open marketplace serving the entire digital content creation industry. That means we're going to offer assets for all game engines, all digital content creation tools, and metaverse-inspired
that's
open
kind of cool.
worlds. So whether you're a studio making a blockbuster game or
Yeah, just
movie,
bring
or
it
you're
all
a
to
player
one
building your
spot.
first island in Fortnite,
Make it easier.
our
The only
goal
thing
is
I
to
worry
bring you
about was stuff like
everything
that
you
is
need to build
proprietary
your world
nature,
in one
but
place. We'll have 3D
they
models,
have
materials, sound,
been
plugins,
pretty vocal about
animations, visual effects, and more.
creating freedom for
That'll be
developers.
the new home of
so-
Quixel Megascans, Metahumans, and other incredible epic content designed to push the limits of what's possible. We'll also bring you the high-quality assets and environment packs from leading art studios, AAA game developers, media companies.
Well, it's just
and
cool
even
because maybe you don't
musicians
want to
who are
make
taking
games,
fan
you want to design
engagement to the next
assets.
level.
You could be able, it's like a Steam marketplace, but
our
for
primary
developers.
focus is on bringing you the best stuff out there.
Well, and creative
Millions
people in
of
general.
Independent artists
So-
who will
Yeah.
benefit from the lowest fees in the industry, pocketing 88% of revenue from their sales so they can build real businesses and invest in making more great assets for you to use. That's right. Now, with millions
I don't
of
know what it
assets,
typically is,
we
but
have to
88
make it
sounds pretty good.
super simple for you to find what you're looking for and get inspired along the way. We'll leverage
think
automated
it's
tagging to consistently and
60/40
accurately
is
describe
the industry
content.
standard, I thought.
And we'll give you the ability
For
to
making
inspect
assets?
3D models before
For
you download.
using
making it
people's
easier to understand
marketplaces
the
in
game readiness
general.
of an asset, so there are no surprises. Building on the success of Quixel
yeah,
Bridge,
that'd be
the Fab
a
plugin will enable you to
18%
search,
increase in
discover,
revenue.
It's funny
drag
because
and
like
drop content
what,
right into your
12%
scene without leaving the game
is
editor.
pretty small, but like you have a lot of people coming to you. You're gonna make a bunch of fucking money anyway. So
We want
and
to
it's gonna be
improve your workflows.
it's gonna
by
incentivize
connecting
people to
Fab
come to
all
you.
industry
So you're gonna be
digital
taking
content
business from
creation
people
tools.
who are not
For
giving
example,
them as much.
Our
So
partnership with Adobe will make it
I don't know,
easy for you
fucking,
to export and publish models from
Epic's
Adobe
really good
Substance
about that.
Painter directly to Fab. Finally, leveraging Sketchfab's digital asset management capabilities, Fab will be the place where you go to store, manage, and share assets either privately with teammates for collaboration or publicly on the web to showcase your work. With collaboration tools like this, we want to help small teams do big things. Now, it's no longer just major studios who are driving our industry forward. World building has become accessible to everyone. And we're seeing this today with tens of millions of new creators building awesome experiences in Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, and other open worlds. This is increasing the demand for ready-to-use content And it's creating an exciting new
I still don't know what
opportunity
Roblox is. I've
for
never
asset
seen
creators
it,
to
except
reach
for I've
massive
seen
new
like
audiences.
projects made there.
We believe
They're not
an
like as
open
great as
and
people
fair
make them sound, but like
marketplace
it's
where artists
pretty
and developers
impressive
come together
what you
to
can even
buy
do
and
with
sell
whatever the hell
assets
Roblox
is
is.
essential to
Yeah, I
the
don't know
creation
anything
of the
about it
emerging
other than
metaverse.
the visual styles.
Now we're going to
Very
keep you posted over the course of the next several months as this rolls out.
like when
And we're
I
looking
was a
forward to
kid,
partnering with you all
3D
to make this an
cartoons on
industry-wide success.
Cartoon Network looking.
And now please welcome
but-
Sax Pearson.
Well, there's one thing that's making its way around right now that's like very Call of Duty looking. Is made in Roblox.
Great to be here today.
A lot of people are making a big deal
We've been
about
working
it, but I
towards
think
this
it's more
moment
so
for a
they're
very
just
long
trying to
time.
protest that they don't like
This
where Call
next
of Duty's at
segment
right now.
is exactly
They're
why
like,
I'm
look
here
what
at Epic.
Roblox can do, but
To move the
COD
industry
can. It's like,
forward
no, COD
and help
decided
make
not to
developers
do
successful.
that, but it is crazy.
I'm here to
Roblox can
introduce
even do
powerful new
that.
tools to existing Fortnite creators, powerful new opportunities for professional developers. Fortnite is becoming an ecosystem. That means new tools to design, develop, and publish games, and a new economy that rewards developers. These updates bring us one step closer to Epic's vision of a connected metaverse where billions of players enjoy high-quality creations made by millions of developers. At the center of this all is Unreal Editor for Fortnite, available today in public beta on Epic Game Store. It's a new PC application that brings the power of Unreal Engine to the scale of the Fortnite
I
audience.
saw somebody make
Deeply integrated with the game,
a Mario
new
Kart
workflows
track
that allow PC and
in
all other
Fortnite.
platforms to create together fast and fluid. We call it UEFN for short. But first, let's talk about how we got here. Fortnite changed when we released Fortnite Creative 4 years ago. Creative is an in-game toolkit for players to make sandbox games inside Fortnite. And because of Creative, Fortnite is already much more than a game. It's already a place where players find games and developers find players. But why should you develop in Fortnite? Well, our players are highly social, content hungry, with over 500 million player accounts, massive PC presence, and the largest console player base. It's the best, most vibrant place for developers to find an audience quickly and publish new games. Islands built using creative tools already account for roughly 40% of playtime in Fortnite.
2019,
That's
people
billions of
saying
hours
Fortnite
a
was
year.
dying.
And we expect that number to keep growing with UEFN.
I was just like, no, it's not.
So this is a sample of games in Fortnite today.
Anytime
What we've
anyone says
noticed
anything is
is
dying, I
that
just want to roll
players are
my
more
eyes
engaged,
anyway. So
they have more fun when they play Epic's own games like Battle Royale and community games made by creators like you. Like the combination is what makes Fortnite special and what is going to help us all grow. As we've shown in Unreal Engine, Epic's mission is to deliver an awesome suite of tools for developers. Unreal Editor for Fortnite is for experienced game developers, like many of you in this room, but it's also for the growing community of Fortnite Island creators that are ready for Unreal Engine's proven PC editor workflow. As you're going to see in the demo coming up, UEFN and the existing creative toolkit is already a great combo for developer and Fortnite creator teams to make incredible experiences. Of course, our long-term goal is to make the entire feature set of Unreal Engine, or bring the entire feature set of Unreal Engine to UEFN, but also over time to expose many of the other services that Epic offers. Bill just announced Fab. Fab is launching today also inside UEFN in an alpha version. And products like Metahuman will be coming to UEFN in the future to support your creative vision. For the next stage of Fortnite, and ultimately the open metaverse,
It's gonna be
we also
crazy to
need
be able
brand new
to use a
tools
separate
that
thing to
solve
make
really
a
hard
character
problems.
model and then import it.
Interoperability, scalability,
And not
and
have to like
resilience
do it in
are real
you know,
issues
something you
when you
have to
operate at this
originally
scale,
have like a separate program to
and
make
expect
character
this level of
models and
durability.
animations and stuff.
This is what led us to develop Verse. It's a powerful new general programming language designed specifically for this purpose. You're going to see us use it in the demo in just a moment. The second thing we're working towards is high interoperability between UEFN and Unreal Engine that will enable you to take your work anywhere. And by the way, behind me is the new Creator Portal, also launching today, where you can manage all your islands, one-click publish them to the world, and when you publish to UEFN, your original IP and your assets are yours to take anywhere. Now let's take a closer look at UEFN features and workflows.
That's
We put
kind of
together a
crazy
short
that you
video,
can make
and then we're going to do a demo.
within
Thank you.
like Fortnite, publish it, and it's yours.
Unreal Editor
Yeah.
for Fortnite runs on PC and is integrated directly with Fortnite, so you have access to over 4 years of content, all for free to get you started. What's special about UEFN is what we call Live Edit. Live Edit allows anyone on your team to join a UEFN session from any platform
what they're
that runs
doing
Fortnite.
is they're getting
That means someone can join from a console,
giving people
using the
like an
normal
entry
Fortnite
point into
client,
creation.
and they're able to work alongside and collaborate with PC users. UEFN has access to all Fortnite creative devices, our modular gameplay systems that work in the in-game editor. This allows you
It's
to
gonna sound
instantly
kinda
add
crazy,
gameplay
but I feel like
and
this
quickly
is
bootstrap your game from the
what's
hundreds of
gonna
gameplay
replace
devices
fucking
already
like
available.
social media.
The UEFN beta has
Like
many of the
Facebook
same
and shit
features we use to create
is like
Fortnite,
these like
including the
platforms where
landscape
you
editing
can play,
toolset.
interact,
You can edit the
socialize, and
landscape to
create.
change the look of your island, or make sweeping
that's why
changes to create
Facebook
something
and all these
completely
tech
new.
companies are pushing
And then
Metaverses
quickly
so
play
much,
it in
but
game
it's
to
like
check out the
it
results.
feels more realized.
So even
through,
though you
like,
have access
Unreal
to tons of
and
Fortnite
Epic.
content,
Like I can
with
see it
UEFN
at
you
this
can make
point.
content.
Well,
that
we're being
looks
shown
like
it
Fortnite.
through someone, yeah.
This is a section from Forest
No,
Guardian.
but like I can just
a tech
it,
demo
we're not
built
seeing
in
what I'm
UEFN
saying,
that we
but
are
like
launching today.
I could actually see
A
where
big
this
feature
goes.
of
It's fucking
UEFN is
crazy.
the ability to import your own custom assets. So we used a few 3D models, textures, and materials that we built just for the project. And all the lighting in the cave was made possible thanks to Lumen, our real-time global illumination system. You can also find more content like Quixel Megascans and Sketchfab models in our initial alpha release of the Fab plugin for UEFN. All assets are curated and optimized for use in Fortnite, and the full version of Fab will launch later this year. You can also create and modify materials, so you can change the look and feel of objects easily. And you can import skeletal meshes, and then animate using Sequencer and Control Rig. Everything you've just seen is available today in the public beta version of Unreal Editor for Fortnite.
If I had more time, I would want to like try out some of the shit because when I was younger, I used to love fucking making like maps and stuff in games, but it was so much harder back then than what I'm seeing right now.
Like the most condensed
Like
way
just
we
being
can
like
show
drag
something
and
like the
drop
more
fucking
important
textures or
workflows.
colors and
But I
stuff
think
on
a
things
much
was
better
like
way is to tempt fate.
so much more
Let's
simple
do a live
than it
demo
used
on
to be.
PC, running on Fortnite public servers right here on stage. Welcome Michael and Ray to the stage. Take it away.
Oh yeah, I saw this. Yeah, once they implement AI into this, which they will eventually, it won't be that far out. You're just like, because a lot of people don't want to create things.
I'm glad that went well.
But if you
Alright.
just request
Hey, folks,
something,
so let's talk about
and
how
they can just
all this
generate it
was
for you, it's gonna be fucking insane.
Michael here has the scene open in Unreal Editor so we can take a closer look. For the environment, we built this level using Quixel Megascan assets, many of which are available in the Fab UEFN plugin. We also used custom content that we built just for this demo. For the gameplay you just saw, we hand-placed enemies using a creative device called a guard spawner, which generates the aliens that you saw at specific locations. However, we wanted to do more and introduce dynamic play that goes beyond what the current creative devices can do. So to do this, we used our new programming language called Verse. So in this short section of code, every second we grab the position of the player. And for each spawn location, we then calculate the distance to the player. And if it's within a certain threshold, we tell that guard to spawn into the level. So now we have gameplay that's more reactive to the player's actions. This is just a short example of using
gonna lose
Verse,
some people,
but for a
but
deeper dive, check out the Verse Tech Talk
everything
later
else
today.
seems really simple.
Fucking half
Now,
code is
Michael
just
is going to show us
copy-pasting
how we
anyways,
put
but
the intro
yeah.
cinematic together.
Hi, everybody. So before the gameplay section, we played this quick cinematic animation. This was actually created entirely in UEFN using Sequencer. Sequencer is our multi-track editor, and it's been used in everything from in-game cinematics to Hollywood feature films. So let's take a look. Now all of this stuff is available right inside UEFN. So let's take a look at this last shot from a slightly different perspective. So the other thing we featured in this section was a bunch of Niagara. Niagara is now available in UEFN, and it's our high-end VFX system. So, and just like in the movies, you can frame up shots and have great effects. So what we're going to do here is just set this up. So just like in the movies, you have slow-mo too. Makes everything better, right? So this is just a sampling of some of the stuff that you can do inside Sequencer. But let's get back to the game.
All right, so now that we're back in the game, in UEFN, you have access to Fortnite's time of day system. Or you could use what we did and do what we did and use a completely custom lighting solution. And thanks to Lumen, both daytime and nighttime look great. Now, let's go to the final gameplay section and let's close out the demo.
If you took that character
as a
model out of
reminder,
there, that would
everything
look,
that you're
I mean, it
seeing
looks
here
great,
was
but like that
created in the same
character
version of
definitely
UEFN
sticks out
that
compared to
were
the
released.
environment, but the environment's fucking
gonna jump in here and
fantastic
help you,
looking.
Ray.
I'm all
Yeah, but I think they're just using it as the point that it's in Fortnite.
Yeah, for sure. These are all characters from it. That lighting is really good.
That's pretty cool looking.
Oh, damn.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, especially, I mean, obviously it was made for this presentation, so it's gonna look good, but also they didn't put the same amount of time into that as if they did, like,
Thanks,
you
Michael
know,
and
make
Ray,
a game or
anyone,
something, so
everybody that put this
it did
together.
look really good.
The demo came about when we asked the special projects team inside Epic that came straight off the Matrix demo to, why don't you put UEFN through its paces? And one amazing fact about this demo is that it's less than 400 megs, it downloads and plays in less than a minute, and it plays on any platform that Fortnite runs on. Like, that is the promise of what
That's
UEFN
fucking
is.
crazy.
So again,
4
Unreal Editor Fortnite is
megabytes?
available today
That's
in public
tiny.
beta in Epic Game Store. If you want an early glimpse of some other technical showcases that our internal teams made with UEFN and Verse, check out Deserted Domination, Forest Guardian, and The Space Inside. All three
Yeah,
are
people were
available to
playing
play
that one
right
on the
now
left.
in Fortnite Discover.
Saw clips of that.
So we've talked about brand new tools in the Fortnite ecosystem. Now I want to talk about the next generation of Fortnite's economy that both Epic and creators will participate in. We call it Creator Economy 2.0. Here's how it works. The money in the economy comes from player spending in the item shop. Fortnite generates billions of dollars a year in revenue from player purchases. Fortnite players who have fun engaging in islands tend to spend more in the item shop. Creators who make popular islands are bringing real value to the Fortnite ecosystem, and we're going to share the resulting revenue with them. This is the engine powering a Creator Economy 2.0. We believe this so strongly, we will distribute 40% of Fortnite's global net revenue to eligible creators who publish games in Fortnite, both independent developers and Epic. Anything we make, like Battle Royale, Zero Build, also participates in the pool shared with creators. This will be the primary way that Epic will pay for our own game development in Fortnite going forward. This is transformed.
So they're paying people who are making content?
Games.
Oh, games.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about the islands.
Glad you feel it's a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
I feel it's
Or the projects in general that sell that
this is
creator
transformative
fund comes
and a
from
big
40% of
gut check
Fortnite's
for us too.
store
We imagine
revenue.
thousands of third-party development teams building businesses and thriving with this model. Payments
I'm
from
glad
the
they're
pool are
so
based on performance of the
ready
island,
to start trying to
take into account data like
give
island
money to people
popularity,
who are
engagement, retention, attracting new
working.
players.
Yeah, essentially
The
working.
benefit of this new approach is rooted
Like
in player
passionate
fun and
fans.
rewards everyone's creative work.
Well,
yours and
because they
others.
are doing the same
There's no
fucking
need
work
to
as like
design
somebody who's
cunning
just
monetization loops.
established.
or extractive
Sure.
dating
So,
items.
but they had people doing it
make an
anyways
island
because they wanted
players
to,
love,
and now
that is
they've
all you
literally
need
just
to be
planted the
part
seed of,
the new economy.
hey, you could come
Creator
over here
Economy
and do
2.0
this.
is live right now.
It's just adding people
For eligible
now.
creators who are currently publishing, we are backdating the engagement payouts to the beginning of this month. And for more details and to sign up, go to create.fortnite.com. Everything you've seen today represents Epic's biggest bet ever. The release of advanced tools that publish directly into Fortnite on PC, console, mobile, and cloud, lowering the barrier for developers to be part of one of the biggest entertainment ecosystems. We welcome anyone to join us in the future, where original content is owned by its creators, where developer earnings are a function of fun, and where ecosystem can be directly linked through community language standards
There's a
like
lot
Verse.
to this fucking showcase.
To support developers who adopt UEFN, we're broadening the Epic Mega Grants program to help
I understand why
teams
it's an
bootstrap
hour now.
projects that use UEFN and Verse. We're just getting started, and we hope that you'll join us and help shape the future of development. Now we're going to give you a look at what UEFN can do right inside Fortnite. After the video, Tim is going to come back out to talk about Epic's future vision. Thank you very much.
It's so funny that the direction Fortnite's going in, you can't even have a conversation about Fortnite as a battle royale anymore.
Yeah.
It's not a battle royale anymore.
It's just a brand.
Yeah, exactly. It's had features before, like creative tools, stuff like that, but like where it's going, like it's just.
Thanks. We think this is
It
going to
is
be a
just a
really
brand.
powerful combination, putting together Fortnite's 70 million monthly active users with the power of the Unreal Editor and a new creator economy to share the revenue with creators who create engaging experiences. And it's another milestone on the path to a new kind of entertainment medium, which science fiction literature calls the Metaverse. Because there's a crazy amount of hype around this whole topic, I'd like to step back and take a long-term look at what we see here. And at the core of it is some very real growth, starting with Fortnite's 70 million monthly active users, Roblox's 250 million monthly active users, Minecraft's 100 million, and PUBG Mobile and Apex Legends, and numerous other Metaverse-inspired games, is leading to an identifiable audience today of over 600 million active users in these virtual worlds. And it's on a growth trajectory that will put it at billions of users by the end of this decade. And so we can set aside the crazy hype cycle around NFTs and VR goggles. These technologies may play a role in the future, but they are not required. This revolution is happening right now.
True.
And the core of it is something that every gamer already understands. It's you and your friends getting together online and going around as a group on voice chat, having a fun time, and social entertainment experiences. And some of these experiences are serious games like Battle Royale. Some of them are going to a concert and dancing, or chatting with friends and just having a good time. We see this as the next big change in gaming and in Epic's evolution as a company. We started out back in 1991 making 2D games. We recognized the opportunity with 3D, so we built the first Unreal Engine and first Unreal Tournament game. We evolved to make console games like Gears of War. Then we evolved to make online games like Paragon and Fortnite. But when Fortnite shipped first in 2017, it was just our game. But over time, we
Unreal,
recognized the opportunity to bring it
just
to a
kind of
much
been
wider audience.
constantly
So we
at the
built
forefront
Fortnite Creative Mode, and then
the
the Unreal Editor
direction
for Fortnite coming out now.
of the
But we
games
see the
and stuff
future
like
of this
that.
medium primarily not about Epic's work, but about the work of independent creators. And we're building towards this open metaverse from two different directions. First of all, we're taking the Fortnite audience we have and enhancing the development capabilities with the new tools and this creator economy to support everybody's work. But we're also helping developers building standalone products evolve towards building metaverse experiences themselves. The Unreal Engine is a tool for this. The Epic Games Store is a distribution vehicle for it. Epic Online Services has taken Fortnite's and Epic's 700 million player accounts and 5 billion social connections and opened them up for free to all developers so they can plug into voice chat and participate in these social experiences in a very easy to use way. And all of these are on-ramps to the future metaverse. We really think that over the next decade, Today's separate apps and ecosystems are going to join together to form tomorrow's open metaverse. And because the last couple of decades have been about walled gardens, walled gardens, walled gardens, let's back up and talk about how open systems have successfully come about in the past. This last happened really big time back in the early 1980s and 1990s when the open internet was built. Back in those days, there were a bunch of closed networks at different companies and universities that couldn't talk to each other. And so the industry got together and defined open standards to connect these closed networks into one big open network. They connected email systems by putting the @ sign in email addresses so people on one service could communicate with people on other services. And then they began to define open standards like JavaScript and HTML for the open internet so that any user could participate. And the rule at that point was that any company could connect as an equal into the system just by following the open standards. Now let's talk about what this means for the open metaverse of the future. We have the opportunity to take all these different online ecosystems for gaming, consoles and publishers, and connect them together into a single
where
place
they came from
anybody can
and
talk
shit,
to
and
anybody
all these things that
else.
have happened.
We have the opportunity to turn today's game engines into tomorrow's metaverse browser engines. If you take a look at Unreal Engine and Unity and Godot, you have some very powerful 3D engines that have an increasingly common set of features and are increasingly adopting industry standards as ways of communicating with each other and with other tools. There's the GLTF content standards, there's Pixar's universal scene description format, and then there are a lot of new standards bodies that have formed to help to standardize the metaverse. There's Kronos Group, there's the Metaverse Standards Forum, there's the Academy Software Foundation and the Open 3D Foundation. And we have the opportunity for all developers to work together to define the future of this thing. And there's also the opportunity to connect the economies of these different ecosystems. What a user would really like is to be able to buy a cool looking outfit in one place and take it everywhere they go. As we were designing this new Fortnite creator economy, one of the things we were constantly thinking about is how this could, in the future, be connected into an open metaverse economy. And there's no reason that the core model there, in which revenue from item shops
I think it's interesting though.
creators of experience,
They're already
based on
building an
engagement,
ecosystem where
couldn't
things
be
are interchangeable
turned into
between
an
different mediums
economic
of
model
making
for the open
metahumans and
metaverse
putting
at
them
large,
in engine on
with
like
economic peering
the
that's
editor
overseen by
or
governance
making
groups to
items
make,
and
this
putting them
work in a safe
onto
way
the
for all
storefront.
players.
They're talking
And this gets us
essentially
to a really key
NFTs,
question
but
here, and that is who is going to build
they
the
are the
metaverse in
blockchain.
future?
It's all within their
And we believe
ecosystem.
the
It's not
answer
part
has
of
to be all of
something.
us together.
It's really
It has to be a
interesting because
combination of indie game
he's
developers
making a
together
really
with
good case
AA and
for
AAA game developers,
metaverse and
Fortnite
NFT style
creators
shit
and Minecraft creators and Roblox creators
in a way that feels
each
more
bringing their
organic
best
than what people typically talk
specialized
about.
knowledge to the new world. And brands like Disney and Ferrari and Ralph Lauren have already experienced the metaverse through crossovers with Fortnite. We think that this is just the very beginning of a very long-term opportunity for all these companies to have a much larger presence in the digital world, in which it becomes a major and first-class business line for all of them. Future Open Metaverse will be about musicians and music labels and film and television studios who are using virtual production today to build world-class photorealistic content, being able to bring it and launch it playably in the metaverse.
So it was like this whole presentation
with their
of
film
them
and
showing all these
television
different things and then talking about how they're going to interact
awesome
and connect and
entertainment
stuff.
content that's
I started instantly thinking about
open
like
to everybody
metaverse
to
stuff, and I was like,
participate
holy fuck. I think
Now,
they
Epic
could
has a
do
long history of
because
supporting
like I think about what
developers this way.
Facebook did.
We built a
They're
lot of
quick to
different
change the name to
services
Meta. We're
that
Meta. Oh,
available to
Metaverse?
everybody
Yeah,
to
let's fucking do
use.
Metaverse
There's
shit.
Unreal
And what they did is something
Epic
less than
Online
what
services,
PlayStation
which
Home
are
did back
open
on
to all
fucking
platforms and all
PS3. They just
stores.
had
There's the Epic Games Store,
some
which is
avatar
open
standing in a
software
fucking
built on
office
all
talking to each other
engines, using
with
all different
horrible
online
graphics.
services.
But these
And we
guys are
believe the
thinking
metaverse
about
has to be
whole
open. It can't be
ecosystems that
another
are
Monopoly's walled
interconnected
garden.
that all feed off
And
of
Epic
each
is all in
other.
on
It's not
this.
just
we went
being
from
in the world. It's also creating the world.
We went from the pandemic to tech downturn,
It's
the crypto implosion,
it's pretty
and now
crazy.
banks are failing.
Where it's gonna
and
be
it's a
at
really
5,
crazy
10
time
years.
again. But we're investing very heavily in the future with the belief that companies who invest now through these hard times are going to come out the strongest company in the future, the strongest companies in the future. Some of these investments we're making in Fortnite initially and then bringing the work to Unreal Engine. Some things we're building in Unreal Engine, taking to Fortnite. But the aim is to support everything that AAA game developers are doing today and more. And this project, to build this all out into an open system, is going to take most of the decade. And that is the journey from Unreal Engine 5 to Unreal Engine 6 that will happen over this time period. It is the same journey to the open metaverse. But there's no need to wait because we're doing it live. We're building all of these systems and deploying them.
It's also
as we
crazy
build
how they're
them,
taking
right into
money
Unreal
in
Engine
and
5,
circulating
ultimately
it
with
to
partners.
people who are in this
So
ecosystem.
we
Like
hope you
he said
download this
earlier,
stuff.
like
Download Unreal Editor for
it's
Fortnite.
its own
Download the Unreal
ecosystem,
Engine and get
it's only
started.
going
And
to
come
turn
see
into
some of our
more of
tech
its own
talks where you
ecosystem
talk
financially.
about
It's
this
fucking
in
weird.
way more technical detail. Thank you very much for your time.
And that's the end. We pretty much talked about everything as we went, but what's your lasting impressions going through that whole thing? Obviously, we don't have to recap the whole thing.
I mean, mostly the biggest takeaways for me, as effectively a consumer, because I'm not a developer, is that they have constantly shown, especially with this engine, that they're trying to make it easier and easier for not just people with money, but the everyday person to be able to create, whether that is assets or games or movies or whatever. Like, they want you to have the tools. I think stuff like that is a good thing. An example that comes to mind is when Sony released Dreams, which was just like this little suite to get people to be creative and make things and stuff. That's a neat idea, obviously, but in this case, you're taking a similar idea, but you're also allowing the potential for that to go from a hobby thing to potentially a career thing. And I think that's really important. It's something I think schools sure as fuck aren't doing. So I think it's great. And probably my favorite thing in the whole thing was the animation part. That is just so wild to see.
You talking about the phone thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even like now, you got companies. I'm going to use Sony again. Sony's releasing I think it's called Mocap, which is a consumer level mocap thing, and it's got 5 trackers in it, and one for your hip and one for each limb. Basically, you do that mixed with a phone to watch your face movement, and you are the 3D model. So a lot of people working on this stuff now, but they really made the making huge strides to make that just like easier and easier, which is crazy because you would need, not even that long ago, an entire warehouse size room and a ton of cameras and trackers. It's just cool to see, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. This presentation was really crazy for me because, like, obviously Epic's always been a dev that's created engines. Unreal, it has been a staple forever. It's not even like a new phenomenon. And then like they make games, but not even that many of them. But Fortnite's obviously huge. But it's really crazy to see kind of a peek at the beginning of what the future of this company is going to be. I feel like Epic is going to be something even bigger in the future than they are now. It seems like they're building the infrastructure to kind of set the path for the future of technology and more than just gaming. It's really kind of crazy. So like a lot of these technologies are adding accessibility to the average person to be able to create whatever the hell they want through this. Whether that be for video games, movies, access to music, to even their storefront for selling assets. It's really kind of crazy, just the amount of stuff that they are connecting to each other. Like I said early on, I could see this easily, eventually at some point, replacing Hollywood or making a dent in it in terms of the accessibility to be able to make whatever the hell you want. And then the potential for an actual metaverse, I think, is already in its like early stages with what they're doing with Fortnite and where that's going to go. So really crazy to see. Graphics are looking fantastic. I went into this thinking we're just going to look at graphics, but now I'm thinking big picture the future of everything digital, but at the minimum level, the graphics look great at 5.2. I was more impressed with the way they're able to generate environments so easily. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
With such high fidelity and high texture, everything's just fantastic looking, so easy to just like snap in. The creative stuff they're bringing to Fortnite is really cool too, because it's kind of a mid ground between hopping in and just developing stuff like this, or you're already familiar with Fortnite, maybe you want to create stuff in there. There's already other games that allow you to create things in game. This is just harnessing the huge suite of creative potential that Unreal Engine already has put into a game where the average person can just make things. Already met with what they do with their creative version where you make your islands or whatever. I think it's going to be huge. Think dreams, like you were saying earlier, but bigger potentially, and later much more serious if people are starting to make money off this kind of shit. It's really kind of crazy to see. The phone thing was insane. It used to take a lot of tech to do that now, and it makes sense. You just create a powerful enough app that understands facial movements, and it can map all that stuff for you. So as long as it understands depth and knows what's going on with your face, there's no reason why you would need a whole setup, a whole rig to do that nowadays. It's like when you go back and see how they did that scene in the original Matrix with all those cameras going around. Nowadays, you would never do something like that to make that scene. So it's kind of interesting to go from all the things on people's faces all over the place and mocap suits to eventually it seems like you're gonna be able to put your phone on a tripod and maybe just do a performance in front of it, and it's gonna be able to scan everything and know what the hell you did, and then render that. It's really crazy. And then the whole idea of all these creative tools that are all linked in Unreal Engine. So it's all just based off this engine. You're able to move things around. So when he started talking about things that sounded very close to NFTs, and he didn't want to use that word because there's a negative connotation to it. I think he's talking beyond just, he's talking about it in a more innocent sense than the financial aspect of buy my NFTs or earn my valuable NFTs. He's just talking about there are assets that you're gonna be able to move around from one thing to another, which is the concept that people are trying to sell people on. He's not, he's trying to sell business-wise something, but he's not trying to sell you the individual NFT. In fact, he's giving you the power to sell them if you create them yourself. And so, like I've said before, in the future, there will be NFTs for sure that people are going to accept, but most people aren't trying to honestly get people excited about them. I think Epic will be able to do it. I think they're already setting the groundwork for it. And I think they're also going to lead the way on Metaverse type shit as well, because they're doing it in an organic way. They're building towards it and not just going, oh, in the future, you're going to want to do like virtual reality stuff with your friends. The Metaverse is like you're in a whole other world. And then they show you a clip of just like two shitty avatars talking. It's like, that's existed forever. I can go play Rec Room where the fuck in VR, and I'm experiencing exactly what you're trying to sell as the Metaverse. So I think they actually have minds at Epic who understand the big picture. So it's really, this is actually super fascinating for me to watch. I got way more out of this than I thought I was gonna. So yeah, future of Unreal is fucking awesome looking, and Epic as a company I think is going to get even bigger, and it's really weird to see that Fortnite is their spearhead for this. I would have never guessed that. Whether it was when it first came out, I'm like, hey, Fortnite, it's kind of a neat idea. Oh, they're implementing a battle royale. It's weird. And then seeing the battle royale take off, and it's like, wow.
And then abandoned Paragon for it.
So. And abandoned Paragon, and then it being known as the battle royale for children. And then now it's like, it's not even that anymore. It's like this whole thing that's going to be like the name of probably their metaverse and everything that's social when it comes to what they do with Unreal Engine. So it's really, really kind of crazy. I could go on forever with this, but yeah, really impressive stuff. I'm kind of blown away by what they showed off here. So very cool. I can't wait to see some Unreal Engine 5 games. Fucking please. Let's get those out. So anything else you want to say?
No, I think we talked enough during it.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, what did you guys get from this presentation? What were your impressions? What impressed you the most? What didn't impress you, maybe? What do you think about the potential of these interconnected elements that they're offering, like Metahumans interacting with Unreal Engine, with Fortnite, with, being able to sell assets? Does that interest you at all? Do you play Fortnite? Would you suggest I check it out? I almost want to download it just to see what the hell's going on with it right now. And yeah, let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Epic, Unreal, Fortnite, and the future of gaming in general. All right, we're going to move over to reading your comments. If you want your comment replied to, type in hashtag STLG. Otherwise, I read at random. We did a Tastycast number 183 not that long ago, where we talked about Dr. Disrespect's NFTs, Robocop, Remnant 2, and Capcom Spotlight. We reacted to the whole thing. We talked about the RE4 demo, and we got a couple comments from Psycho Scream. First one saying, "Oh yes, I'm done with the story of Wild Hearts, and have done a few pre-volatile monsters and have some keys to do the volatile monster fights." Very cool. We should do that at some point. I also have some keys. Probably need some more, but glad to hear you're doing that. And then another comment from Psycho Scream saying, "No Man's Sky pretty much crashes damn near every chance it gets for me. If I'm offline, it's fine. Maybe some shit on my end. I had no knowledge of the game till I watched Chevy play it for a few hours, and yeah, I've got my money's worth and then some." Well, that's a big game. I believe that, especially every time you've been updating us with your experience with the game. It's just more and more stuff, and I'm like, that's pretty crazy. So I believe that. It sucks to see you're getting crashes. I haven't heard that. Well, no, you've talked about it. It
crashes. Yeah.
I haven't experienced that. That's what I meant to say, but I'm sure if I play enough, I will.
And then speaking even from a platform standpoint, obviously me and Scream are both playing it on PS5. I've had 2 crashes, like total. I have watched Scream crash a few times myself.
Damn.
And then I've seen Chris crash multiple times. I do think the crashes are somewhat related. And this is, if I'm right, let me know if you know. But I think they're related to network drops. Like if if it can't keep up with the information back and forth, I think it just dies. Because even he says when he plays offline, it's fine. And every time I've seen Chris crash, there were some syncing issues happening between us for a moment.
I've played games in the past though where like I wouldn't get crashes unless I try to connect with a friend. And if crashes happen, it would happen then. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I think it's purely network based.
Kind of narrows it down.
The game was not originally designed for multiplayer, so I do think that is just a unfortunate side effect of it having multiplayer. So.
Yeah, building off the foundation they built before that wasn't intended for what they're doing now. Yeah, makes sense.
Fortunately, it's real easy to get back in. So
yeah. Yeah, well, good to hear that you're getting your money's worth with No Man's Sky. It sounds like it, and we'll definitely have to play some Wild Hearts. They just introduced a new monster that apparently
should play that in general.
Yeah, apparently the new monster is a 2-element monster. I think it's water and fire or something like that.
Making Pokemon now. Okay.
Yeah, apparently. All right, well, thank you for the comment, Psycho. And moving on, we're revisiting one we already read comments from before because we got more comments on it recently. This is from 2 weeks ago. I did a rant where I was upset with Dr. Disrespect's NFTs and the way he's handling discussing that with people who are rightfully so suspicious of what he's doing. Some people trust him, some people don't. I'll let you guys decide what you think on that. But we got a couple comments. One of them from Third Eye Gemini saying, "Why are these pseudo celebrities always pushing an NFT scam? Laugh my ass off." I think a lot of these people get somebody in their ear at some point who's already trying to get NFTs rolling, whether it's a scam or not. And so they sell them on the idea. They're like, look, dude, like we can make a game. We'll use your celebrity to push the game, push the NFTs. You'll make some money. It'll be really exciting for the people playing the game because it's going to offer all these crazy new ideas that have never happened in a game. They're like, oh yeah, that sounds good. I like making money. I like cool ideas. I like adding new things to the future of gaming. And then they try and push it, and then it backfires because as consumers, we're like, well, we don't want that. I'm not interested in that. You haven't proven that it's good yet. So And then you listen to a lot of these like online celebrities on podcasts, and they all say they've had people offer like ways to sell NFTs. Like all these people like were floating around and just going like, hey, we're trying to sell this NFT, we'll use you to sell it. So I think that's probably what happened here. He already had this this dev. I don't know if they already existed and he bought them or if he assembled them, Midnight Society or whatever. But I feel like somebody within that, whether they joined or are talking to him now about it, are trying to push NFTs through his game because there's money to be made. Though if you look at the graphs of NFT sales, they've dropped significantly. So you're going to have to create excitement for NFTs if you really want to sell them. And sounds like Tim Sweeney might do it, but everyone else I am skeptical of. So I think that's why you hear a lot of these pseudo celebrities pushing this. Anything? Tired subject?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Fair enough. Thank you for the comment, Third Eye Gemini. And then the last comment we got is from Steve Schvelzer that says, saw him at 2017 PAX West. Big baby who thinks he is cool about cover it. When challenged for facts, he attacks the person asking the question. Yeah.
Such an annoying tactic.
Yeah. I noticed that on Twitter. I noticed that with anybody who questions him. He's very quick to be defensive and then attack them, and that's fine. People can do that, but I think it does show a lot on his character. And a lot of people say he is playing a character, but that's how much are you playing that character, and how much am I supposed to even like that character?
It came from somewhere.
Sure. I could walk around being a dickhead to people though and be like, "That's my character." I'm like, people still don't gotta like it.
Yeah, you're still being a dick.
And you're still affecting people negatively through that character. So that's a smokescreen. It's a stupid fucking defense. So I believe what you say, but people like him, and I got no judgment towards those people. You like what you like, but
oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, but
and anyone interested in his game, good for you. Like that, whatever.
I'm interested in the game. I'm just not interested in the NFT part. But everything I see on it does not look like a high quality game. He keeps saying he's like going to revolutionize AAA games, and I see it. I'm like, that looks.
He's got to sell his investment.
100%. That's when people are like, well, you got to trust him with the NFTs. I'm like, I barely trust him with the game. He keeps saying it's AAA. I know he's got to say that, but fucking you look at it, and anyone who has eyes can fucking tell that this is like pretty much just an indie game.
I'm gonna trust no one with nothing.
True. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for the comment, Steve Schvelzer, and thank you everybody who commented. Again, if you want your comment read for sure, type in hashtag #STLG. It makes it easier for me to find your comments and read them and reply to them. Otherwise, I read at random. But that's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast. It was a long one, but we had a lot to talk about and a lot to watch. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Make sure to comment below everything you're thinking about. Join the conversation. And yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for joining me, Chevy. I've been Seth. This is Chevy, and we'll roll the outro. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast 184. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on our socials and streams linked down below. Check us out on our Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us in audio form. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. I also have a TikTok you can check out down below if you'd like to see my shorts, since I can't upload them to YouTube. And like this video, and I'd really appreciate it. Comment. We'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.